hopefully not too much of the weaknesses of the Era goalies. They don't have much defense power and not a lot of offensive power as well by themselves, but they can, you know, let their other teammates go have all that offensive speed that they need. But right here, we're seeing 2 KOs drop on both sides, 1 on each. So now we're going to see how they're able to get it out. Enox right now, dash punch is trying to get the barrier. Unfortunate angle is going to slide right past us. They're trying to get this through. The cyber swipe doesn't quite connect, but they're trying to make it work here. Enox once again holding it down, and now Kainoob is back.
Kainoob back online. Here's that firewall sentry, but the coral slip past out of the corner. Kainoob right back in the X Maximus. Now his refresh all cooldowns. There's a bell ringer out. Enoch will keep it forward as well, and Kainoob will take it himself. Up to that top corner, Demons Raw take the first set. You think Quest Esports is sweating a little bit yet, Spook? You think they've been knocked down a peg yet?
I think so far they might be realizing they might be a little in over their head. But I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing here from Kainoob, as he is able to get the speed boost and the size increase from Gumi, and he's able to run in there with X Maximus, just this huge X that now has Castellas that will be able to do that for even longer.
Almost seems to be reflective of the fact that you're going over to that Clarion map, right? The Clarion test chamber on the Project Bailstorm to get the giant size orb. Well, not quite the case. And now, with this Castellas pickup here, Kainoob is going to be even larger for even longer, right? In terms of the ability to have that X Maximus ability online as much as possible with the cooldown boost from the Demolitionist start, of course. Now, in addition, also having the size increase for longer, and you see it put it in work there onto Switch's stagger bar. This gets taken back to their side of the pitch. Switch now cracked and sent away, looking to try to do something, and now we'll catch the fist of Enoch. Here's Enoch right back into the corner. That refresh comes back from the Demolitionist, and it's right back into the net.
Definitely a strong play as we see there. Kainoob playing his life very smartly, knowing when and where to pick a encounter in order to keep himself alive, keep him up healthy enough where they won't go for damage, but also just able to keep on that pitch there, able to make those plays. And as we're seeing here, Switch looking really low, has to burn an elusive, but this Castellas means he's just going to be there for longer, and Enoch's there to get that last hit in, as Kainoob's able to get that barrier now, looking very dangerous as they're able to hit it into that corner, collapsing in with Kainoob's bell ringer. What could they do?
This Demolitionist start, in like 2 weeks, I'm going to predict it. In 2 weeks, everyone's going to be complaining about Demolitionist starts. It used to be the fire-up starts, right, that were always like the equalizers. This just looks like the most snowballing thing in existence, because especially when you're picking the double brawler composition, the Juliet almost always is going to have that dash punch online, gets a barrier, confirms the barrier, then is able to find the second barrier, has that refresh to put the core in the net. Here it is yet again. Enoch, it's going to get flipped away. Toasty Local will buy a little bit of space here, but this thing is snowballing out of control so quickly. Here it is again, actually this time for the Quest Esports side. Switch comes up just a little bit shy. Enoch tries to keep it in the corner. And Kainoob will be in that X Maximus to bully that Juliet away. Now Enoch with a knife's edge speed that was picked up in the last carousel, trying to get right back up there. Can't find it yet. Now Gumi tries to go in, but it slips right behind him. Toasty Local, fantastic punish in order to find that one. That's the other thing in this Awakenings carousel that I wanted to pick up on, that we didn't get the chance to talk about much because we were talking about so much else. Toasty Local picking up the Super Surge there for this Aimee will have a little bit more ability to go in, find some of these larger plays, but again, it's going to be very much about trying to punish some of these positionings, especially how weak Era tends to be received as a goalie.
Yeah, I mean, Era, as we said earlier, can enable her forwards to have more offensive power than the enemies would like, but they themselves have no forward power at themselves, but they also have not a lot of defensive power, as their only real plans are the Era, you know, the Witching Beam, and then the Tornado, the Maelstrom, but that takes a while to set up, so you can't use it when you need to right away sometimes, and the Era Beam is only one ability, it can only do so much, so there's not a lot it can really do in terms of defense. They're really praying here that Kainoob scales, and so far it's worked out in their favor, as all this damage is on Switch as they're running away, trying to keep the damage of Toasty Local, but it's not enough to find that KO, but right now they're able to get the barrier. Now this, you know, Demon's Raw has open net.
Imsegrest will find the outplay in order to find that barrier, but now it's right back down to the bottom side. Kainoob and Enoch both in position. Now Enoch looks to try to send it back, but can't do it there. And Gumi will take it himself to the midfield line with an energy burst. there. That is one of the things about Gumi's era right now, is that Flutterfly speed comes out pretty consistently with the Twin Drive, in addition to picking up stacks on stacks in the last carousel. Yeah, that's the reason why you're seeing Gumi move so far forward, which is something he's very known to do on a lot of other goalies. But now as we head into this Awakenings carousel, Kainoob's first up yet again, and it's the specialized training picked up yet again. Another fantastic one for the X-Maximus.
Yeah, and right here we're seeing that Hamster Quest is actually able to get Chrono Boost, which is really good era ability. I mean, you get that extra speed that is insane because all of your teammates get it. But then not just that, but it's also 35% longer. So maybe we'll be able to see that, you know, Twin Drive Flutterfly come in a little bit more handy on the quest side of things. Because so far, Gumi's been the only one showing it how it works. But right there, as we're seeing here, a double break now. Switch trying to get forward. He has dash punch up because of the demolition. Is trying to get into the right opportunity to use it. Can't quite find it. Enoch is finding himself in a dangerous situation, trying to just hold the speed gate hostage right now. As we're seeing, he gets the ball, but he has to dodge so much he can't actually make a play on it.
Well done in order to find that dodge, but you won't live on for that long. Toasty Local with a second cast of the Cyber Swipe will put it away. Now, well, there's a classic split moment there. Seen that one before. Hit a barrier, but Toasty Local diving back in. Now has the eject button. Firewall Sentry up. So much pressure, but Enoch finds a KO to alleviate some of that pressure. And now it's a power play for Demon's Raw. Toasty Local tries to keep it forward. Switch SSB, sends up the corner. And the dash punch comes out just to the outside. Gets sent away here, and so maybe a little bit of breathing space for Quest Esports, but in a moment, these cooldowns are going to be right back online. Here comes the Flutterfly. Enoch coming down with that knife's edge speed. Can't get there in time. Now Switch tries to punch it home. Gumi still there to hold the line. And look at how fast this air is moving now. Finally, Switch will slip one through right in front of Gumi's Bewitching Beam. That'll be the first goal on the board here in set 3 for Quest Esports.
Definitely a strong one to win, showing that they're not completely out. Their own Flutterfly is letting them have that speed, but one thing I want to talk about with Gumi's speed here is that once his forwards exhaust all their options, which is extremely hard when you have that Demolitionist, because you get one barrier and you immediately back up, but if they manage to do so, he gives them that Flutterfly speed, and they just have more options now again, which is so hard to defend against.
Enoch finally gets taken off of the pitch. I think it was on something like a 6 or 7 KO streak at that point. That will reset, but even still, low stagger bars in the members of Quest Esports. Switch tries to move forward. Here comes the Flutterfly speed out again, and there's the Flying Phoenix once more. Up to that top corner. Quest Esports now up 2-0, looking to take a set here.
They might be able to make the reverse sweep. That would be definitely a legendary upset to see here, but I don't think Demon's Raw is going to let that happen as easily as they might think it is, which we're seeing here. The Amy Turn's going to come out, trying to force that top barrier to get broken, but we're going to see them hold it out here. Corpin's going to come up with Hamster West, which is able to get one barrier now. So trying to hold this last one for the life. Switch is in that corner. Almost gets taken out Kainu by the Aero Tornado, but managed to stay alive there as their X-Maximus is making Switch have all that damage get taken, and the Corpin's going to find that KO.
Kind of doing a fantastic job of just layering on top that damage. Now, beautiful strike away from Toasty Local. Steals it right out of Enoch's Flying Phoenix and still holds the barrier. Now gets bullied around, pinballed around, and will get taken out. Kind of looking to dribble down to this bottom side, but now it's going to get sent away. It's power play opportunity for Quest Esports, but Gumi's the one that's forward now. Kainu trying to hold the line on the backside. Gumi trying to play the defensive midfield here rather than anything else, and it seems to have bought enough time at least, which is sometimes all you really need to do in a position like that. Now has Core Flip, will send it up to the top side right when Kainu comes back online. Beautiful hold and fantastic position from Gumi. Again, just in order to stall some more of that time. Toasty Local comes up just shy on the Cyber Swipe. Here's the Firewall Sentry out yet again. Hamster Quest low on Stagger. Enoch in pursuit. Can't find the KO. Now it'll finally bounce, but actually ping-ponging back on both sides of the map. Goal gates open on both sides. Hamster Quest retreats back to pick up the orb. Enoch doesn't have the Flying Phoenix to send it back. Or actually did, and just wasn't able to find it. Switch looking for a little fancy play off the split barrier. Now it comes up just shy. Course moving so fast here. And overtime of set 3. Hasn't even found the speed gate. Now Kainu, beautiful strike there to keep it in play for Demon's Raw. Switch will get it past Gumi, but again, there's no one there to capitalize. Enoch large, once again, coming into the Bewitching Beam, and now I think Toasty Local just struck a little bit too early there. Core's going to find the back of the net. And Demon's Raw still alive in this set, looking to close it out here.
What an insane point. Just barely getting right through that corner as we saw. But now, right here, they're able to get one barrier. Dashboards comes out, but unfortunately misses the mark on the core now as they have the ball. Only have one barrier up, but that's all you really need on a map like this. They're able to get it through. Kainu trying to feed it to Enoch. Get this through here. Find the KO on Switch, but can't quite get it. Doesn't have the cooldowns for it now as Gumi has the core flip here, might come out to use it, but decides to let one barrier go. Now they are trying to get this through, but the barrier is going to drop, and the core flip might have to come out here as we see it comes out, because that was just checkmate, but it's going to go across and get the other barrier now, as both sides are 1-1, or both barriers open. Wide nets, as we're seeing here. The ball is trying to get to Switch, because he has that core flip, but they won't let it happen, as we're seeing they have to play so patient. So far, you know, Switch is just controlling that field. They have to stay away from him, but the Corp's going to find the mark on him, not quite able to get through the ball. Now, as we're seeing here, everyone has respawned and everyone is in this game.
This is the reason why you find Gumi to be things like the first All-Pro goalie in the North American Strikers League last season. Why he's generally considered to be one of the best, because he doesn't even need any of these nonsense abilities, doesn't need any of these creations to hold the line. We can do it just fine with the tools at his disposal, and the rest of the team will layer on top the damage in order to seal the deal. We're now on match point for Demons Raw.
Definitely a strong point. I mean, as you said it, you know, Gumi just needs that, you know, that strike ability, and his teammates are going to go out there and make that happen as they're able to get one barrier, you know, and get the second barrier as well with the dash punch. Now it's open net with Kainu goalieing for a little bit with that X. Definitely a strong goalie pick here, as now they're dropping one barrier, trying to get the other one. The Corpus is going to come out and it's going to get it. Now both sides are open net. Switch trying to get this ball while it's in, but Enoch is able to dribble it with the help of Gumi, but it's going to slide right past now as they're trying to convert here. Switch might have something up with that demo here, but he's not quite able to get it as Enoch's going to find the punch, but he can't find the goal.
Not quite yet. Now down to the bottom side here. Gumi starts to come forward. Now it's going to back away. Switch will send what felt like a lousy core. That didn't even feel like a real core flip energy burst there. That strike didn't feel that empowered, but hey. We'll play to the favor now of Demons Raw. Maelstrom actually going to send away Kainu there. Can't quite find the ball rush forward. Switch looking in pursuit of the goal here. Beautiful power play opportunity. Gumi still has the energy burst and will save it just in the nick of time. Now it's overtime. Again, forward. Finally, it'll go back. And Quest Esports will take a set.
What a strong set. I mean, they were able to find so many good KOs there, and they were able to capitalize on it as well. Gumi doing his best to hold it down, but not much you can do there now as we're seeing this Awakening Carousel. But we haven't really talked too much about them. We're seeing that X might get more stagger here, bulk up, which means they'll just do more damage. I mean, there's heavy impact, and the Airs one of them could opt for aerials for a little bit more speed, but I don't know, we'll have to see.
Smoked. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like this is just not going to be the strongest carousel. It feels like we're in for a lot more of the same, right? There are a couple of, there's two sparks on the board, which don't really play an impact because no one else has taken sparks up to this point. There's two stagger awakenings on the board, which don't really play an impact because no one's taken stagger awakenings up to this point. And the rest of them, like, sure, prime time on Gumi will be useful, I suppose, for the size when you're able to notice it. But aside from that, it doesn't feel like there's a lot. Maybe the other thing here is Hamster Quest picking up aerials for that extra flutterfly speed. But otherwise, I think we're just in for more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, as we're seeing here, we are in for the same, as Quest did get the last set, so I guess it is more of the same. The one thing I did want to say is that, you know, X getting that bulk up means that we still haven't seen Tempo Swing make its mark, I believe. So potentially that could be scaling for that last set if they need it, and they're going to have to pick someone to deny it here. But it doesn't matter if they don't get that far, as, you know, we know Demons Raw would love to put an end to things right here, right now, this set.
It's all a matter of who can execute better, and now Tosi Local comes in on the cyber swipe once more. Well done to find those kinds of opportunities here for Quest Esports, just securing one of these barriers, getting some refreshes on the cooldowns, but now Kainu will pop the energy burst to send one player away. Well, Bellringer can't quite find the barrier there, though, and now right back up here. Look at how large Enoch is. Thanks to the buff of that Bewitching Beam from Gumi. Another KO comes through, as this time it's Hamster Quest taken off the pitch. And Enoch back in the corner with the knife's edge speed. Gets sent away by the Firewall Sentry, and now right back up to the top side. Toasty tries to do his best to send it away, and actually will find a slight angle. Now it's going to slip by Gumi. Switch in position. Can't quite capitalize. It'll go off the goal barrier, but a KO comes through. Xenox able to find that again on to Hamster Quest. Power play opportunity once more for Demon's Raw. Toasty Local cyber swipes in, sends the core away for a moment, buys enough time, and then Kainu will send it right through Switch with that X Maximus. You never quite know when that X Maximus is going to come online, but if you can predict something like that and set that up like Kainu just did, fantastically done.
Definitely well done. That double strike is just so strong to compete with for that one ability. I mean, X might not seem like the most core control based character, but that one combo of options you have is so nice to do. It feels really good and really lets him shine even further with that just extra oomph. And now as we're seeing here, Enoch is able to get one barrier, able to get the second one, has all of his cooldowns back because Demo is just so strong. And now as we're seeing here, they're trying to get it to him because he has Core Flip, has Dash Punch back online, trying to get it through here, but they're holding midfield down, but it doesn't matter because Kainu's able to crush in, get a KO here now as they have double Core Flips on the field. We're going to see one come out, but now the other one comes out as they're trying to get it through. Dash Punch into the fiery flurry to get that goal and deny the Core Flip.
I don't know. I have to go back and process that clip specifically to watch Enoch, what Enoch did there, because that just looked so clean, right? You would have thought, oh, okay, well that looks a little weird that you're committing your dash punch while you already have the core and core flip, but it actually helps him position further forward, and then he just pops the fire flurry when it's sitting right there on top of the goalie, probably assuming that they were likely going to pop their own energy burst as well. So fantastic read there. But now goal gates open for Quest Esports. Enoch once again looking to this corner. Here comes some of the Flutterfly speed. There's the energy burst as well. Actually gets bullied away from it. Can't find the strike. And now we'll win the strike war versus Toasty Local. But Switch in pursuit. Going back the other direction. No. Enoch's back in time to steal it. Now looks for the corner, but it bounces weirdly, and Toasty Local will be able to scoop it away. Now, Firewall Sentry out. Sends it right back to the corner. Hamster Quest tries to get in position here, but goes a little bit just too far forward. And now we'll find the strike in recovery. It's still match point for Demon's Raw, but Quest Esports not out of this game yet.
Definitely not out, but I think maybe right now might be a good question is this game hard enough for Hamster Quest? I mean, they are, on match point potentially here for this game. Not the series, but the game. So that's my question as we see both their barriers are now broken as it's open net, trying to keep this through, but the Corp is going to come out from Switch, but it's going to be denied by the Bewitching Beam. And the sad emote paired with it from Gumi now as they're trying to push this through. The Corp's going to come out from Toasty Local, but it's not enough as they're able to just send it right back into that corner for that game.
How about that Bewitching Beam from Gumi that interrupted the core flip and the empowered strike out of that energy burst in order to send it away. Well done there in order to find that. And fantastic stuff across the board. Of course, Demon's Raw, no one would have doubted them taking this match at all, right? But look, with Enoch coming in, Snake had to step away. Quest Esports certainly been on a tear so far today, and they're showing they're up for it. But now I'm kind of curious to know what their thoughts are as we head into the future maps of this year, because next up they're going to Atlas's lab, which you'd think is probably a map that Demon's Raw feel pretty comfortable on, especially because they just played double brawler on Atlas's lab, which can further contribute and exacerbate the damage problem.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas Lab is just such a damage-heavy oriented map because of that black hole and the extra knockback you get options for. It lets kill character or non-kill based characters that just do a lot of damage able to have another option for them, which is just so powerful and strong. And you just have to watch where you're standing, and it's just the threat that they can loom over your head, which is really dangerous. And if we see another double brawler like this, it's definitely going to be quite the match to see. And I'm curious what bans might come out to see here. And also, we might see some dangerous awakenings that come into play that might force out a ban as well.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what we're going to see, because it feels like that was just a different microcosm, right? When we're talking about Demolitionist on start, right? And how quickly things can just snowball out of control. I think Gumi probably on that era pick might be thinking something to the effect of like, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do or what character I'm going to pick, because I'm just going to get steamrolled anyway when the Juliet on the enemy team gets an instant refresh, right? So I might as well just pick a character that can just bust or, continue buffing the rest of my team, right? I might as well play a character that can empower the rest of my teammates to actually snowball the game harder, right? And oftentimes we saw that. And while you might think that they didn't have a lot of core control characters because they were playing double brawler, as it turns out, Twin Drive as the other awakening there that comes in for that era on the start means that they're going to be buffed in the Flutterfly almost all of the time, right? So as it turns out, it kind of works out on the whole. You have enough speed to be able to account for the fact that you can't influence the core at range. And so instead, getting that snowball, getting that forward presence is something that was incredibly important. But now, of course, we might be going to a more traditional game in game 2. As I alluded to, it'll be Atlas's lab. We'll have to see what the starter awakenings are, but it feels like a unique microcosm. We could see anything else here, Spook.
Yeah, I mean, the strongest combo in that Night Market game was dash punch into dash punch into dash punch for the goal, which was just insane.
How chill is that?
How do you really counter that as a goalie? You use all your options on the first one, and the second one comes out, and then the third. And you're like, okay. But as we're seeing here, we're seeing a Kazan hover for Enoch. Or nope, I stand corrected, into a Julie Vice. So definitely a lot of damage here with that arrow, but now in the midfield position from Kainu.
Looks like the Aimee is going to get banned away here by Demon's Raw. And actually, Aimee getting banned on both sides. Interesting across the board. I wonder if that means like a Timeless Creator or extra special start with what we were looking at there at the very beginning. But neither team wants to play it. And neither team wants the other team to play it. So one less ban on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the cat is gone. So now we are going to be here sitting with a lot more damage as we're seeing Julie, Kai, and Luna. And that Kai damage buff is really good for early game. The barrage, it might not sound like a lot, like 10 more damage on for each pellet, but there's like 4 or 5 pellets in there. It adds up if you can really connect it. I mean, it's not helpful too much late game, but early game.
I'm just trying to predict what starter awakenings are. Okay, it's Monumentalist, Spark of Strength, where there are 5 Sparks of Strength, and Hamster Quest pulls out the Juno. On the Monumentalist start, the Juno pick, we've seen rise in popularity a little bit, played in more of this midfield role. But now, Spooked, now it's going to be a race for who can get the Sparks first.
If we didn't have one snowball game, that was enough. Now we have another one coming in for game 2 here. I mean, really, Demon's Raw is kind of known for snowballing, though. I mean, they have that potential and that ability. So right here, this might be their, their game set winner, but we'll have to see as Enoch is going to dash punch the ball there, trying to get it through. But now we are going to be in this bottom corner, fighting for that last barrier, but Switch is just looking so low. Passed right through him because he was staggered and couldn't actually connect on the ball. And we're dropping so much on him, just not letting Switch play the game comfortably.
Switch is just sitting there in the midfield going, I don't really know what to do. Now we'll get cleaned up. Steps a little bit too far to the north, and Enoch will find Flying Phoenix and punch. And now Core goes right to the corner. Beautifully done by Kainu to find that pass there as well. Core will find the net first on the board for Demon's Raw.
What an insane Giga Pass. I mean, Giga is just such a good ability. There's so much you can do with it. And we're going to see here, Enoch's going to fire Flurry early. I don't really know what that was for. Maybe a misclick. I'm not sure. But we are going to see a lot of damage come on from the Hamster Quest here. As now they're going to get KO'd by Goomy flying in out of nowhere on the Luna pick now. But it is going to cost them that goal barrier as Toasty Loco's trying to get in there with the eject button, but it seems that Giga is so strong it's able to find another KO, and Goomy is able to find another KO as they're able to just slide it into the goal barrier when there's no goalie left to defend.
Hey, Quest Esports, objects in Mirror are closer than they appear. This Luna is going to be in your face the entire game, especially, I mean, Goomy probably wouldn't even be upset to pick up Sparks either, especially when it's a Spark of Strength up first, because you're just going to be able to pick up more KOs and more damage across the board, which is exactly what the Luna wants to do. So we're going to need to see larger playstyle adjustments to account for the fact that Goomy's going to be flying in on the boost, and there would have done the trick had Enoch not finished it off first. Now, area covered by that core flip. Enoch up to Kainu, has the core flip, Toasty Local will intercept with a Giga Blast, but now won't have that as a defensive tool. Kainu still has this core flip, now will send it, and actually gets interrupted by Toasty Local's barrage. Here he comes, coming in on the eject button. Can't find much in the blazing pace, and once again, Hamstquest will be sent off of the pitch. Blazing pace again here out of Kainu, trying to get this one up to Enoch, but can't quite find the angle out of the corner. Now will run into the middle, and now steals it right back up there. Almost is able to find it off of the damage boost, but not there. Gumi still holding onto this last barrier, and Enoch in pursuit again despite being completely staggered. Now we'll regen back up. Switch can't quite make the connection down to the bottom barrier, and here's the core flip. Gumi still has his energy burst as well, and Switch got sent in a weird direction there, and this time it's Enoch's turn to go to the penalty box and sit out for a moment. Whammy doesn't connect there either. Hamsterquest jumps in. Kainu will redirect this pass, tries to get it back up there, and Gumi will send it home himself. 3-0 set and 3-0 start in game 2 here for Demons Raw.
Definitely Gumi flying in. I don't know if it was just me, but I think I severely, from what I'm seeing here, underestimated the power of one singular spark of strength here. Because how many KOs are already flying? It seems like this awakening is really good now. I don't know if I missed a patch or two, but it's really strong as we're going to see Kai in that midfield role. Getting prime time is super strong here. Luna getting missile prop, so much more damage, so much more range, that 20% hitting harder. Letting the Demolitionist fall all the way to Hamsterquest though is a little bit of an interesting pick here.
One thing I was looking at, though, is whether or not those Stagger Awakenings were going to get taken, and indeed, the Bulk Up does get picked up by Enoch here, which could mean an even higher priority on the Spark of Resilience later, as we saw no sparks there. Have to keep track of those, and now Enoch, my goodness, comes through with that. There's 2 Power Awakenings that came through, and got the job there done. Chopped about a quarter of the health bar of Toasty Local off, and will finish the job on the power play.
Yeah, KOing is definitely looking like a really strong feature right now to this team of Demons Raw. As with only 1 Spark of Strength and Missile Prop on their side of their goalie, and Bulk Up and that same Spark of Strength on their forward is able to get just so many KOs and kill that goalie so early on, and now Switch and Hamsterquest both have to get an orb just to stay alive here.
Trying to keep possession of the core, especially with the Blobos out on the pitch, but can't do that as they'll despawn, and now with 1 player getting taken away. See what happens here. Kainu, Giga Blast, trying to look forward here. Can't seem to put it away or get it over to Enoch. Gumi still has an energy burst as well to hold down that back barrier. By the way, we're starting to see some massive level discrepancies here. Enoch just ticked over to level 5. Gumi there as well. Actually, all the members of Demons are at level 5. Switch just ticked over to level 3. He's been KO'd the entire time, and there gets taken off of the map again, thanks to Enoch's energy burst. Gumi goes in here on the boost. Let's Enoch hold down the bottom line, and now Kainu will send the core flip into the net, slightly redirected around the gravity well. 5-0 start for Demons Raw. Hey, Hamsterquest, is it hard enough yet?
Yeah, I think they might be feeling the tension, the tensity of this game now. Might call this one a hard one, in my books at least, if I was in their position here. They're able to get 1 barrier and lose almost all their whole health bar on their goalie here. They're able to get an orb, get a little bit more healthy, but we know this damage is always looming over them with Gumi able to fly in when you least expect it, able to just snap in. Now, kind of able to take over for the goalie role because Gumi wanted to peek up. Unfortunately, Hamsterquest is able to beat out that new goalie, and now they're back in their regular spots here. The dash punch is going to come through, and they're able to get their first goal here.
First goal on the board, because Switch was actually left alone and left to his own devices, I think, that time. There were no cooldowns and abilities sent to his direction, and he could play the game for once. Novel concept, and now eats a barrage, eats a whammy, gets in the fiery flurry, almost sent away into his own goal. But I'll try to come on back in pursuit.
He's finding himself so KO'd here. I mean, it's just so hard to stay alive. He scored 1 point, and they're just looking at him like, nah, you gotta go now. You're too strong, but it seems right here they're leaving him alive, leaving him staggered as they're able to get the dash punch off, but it's not able to quite connect. Now as the KO is gonna come out on the, they're trying to hamstring us, just holding it down here, but he can't quite do what he can when it's a 2v3 the whole time, as Toasty Local just lost half his health from one combo from Gumi.
This is what it feels like to fight your demons, chatters. It's rough some days. And you know, you just got to accept that. It's going to be rough some days. But it's really about how you bounce back. It's about how you come back, whether it be later in the day, later in the week, later in the same game, later in the same match, later in the same tournament. We'll see how Quest Esports decides to respond, if they're given the opportunity to on this next carousel. Or might just try to take it themselves here, but there's Hamster Thrust going again. Switch almost finds the core flip. But of course, Gumi's still got that energy burst, and will use it there. Now Toasty Local tries to get involved here, and now Switch will find the angle up to the top corner. All right, so we're sending it to a goal 5 here.
I mean, it seems that Quest Esports have made a switch in their gameplay, and it seems they're able to keep that barrier, able to stay alive long enough for them to able to get the ball where they need it to be, get those barriers, and then get that point in. So it seems whatever adjustments they've made here, it's certainly working, but that doesn't mean it's going to get any easier, as we're seeing Hamsters is already staggered.
Already staggered, has to retreat back for the goal orb, and will do so, but both barriers going to fall here. Kainu now in the corner. Energy burst committed by Enoch, and he'll send the strike right back. Demons Raw up 2-0, looking to advance on to tomorrow.
They are looking to go on, as we're seeing here, the Spark of Resilience, something that might be sought after for most teams, but it seems this guy is going to opt for Chrono Boost for that extra speed, and Luna gets whatever they want here. I mean, they either get Spark of Resilience for more power, or they get Specialized Training for more power. There is no denying this Gumi.
Actually, we'll elect for the hot shot there, I suppose, looking for the extra core speed. Spark of Resilience will finally get picked up here by Switch, but it'll be peak performance on over to Enoch picking that up. So now he's got a little bit of extra power, even more power than he came in with at that carousel, because of the extra stagger from peak performance. Has a little bit extra there, and now finds a KO with that extra power against the one that picked up the Spark of Resilience. One goal barrier down, keeps it in the corner, send it right back up to the second one. And the precision here coming through from all the members of Demons Raw. Continuing to get the job done. Enoch down to the bottom side. Gigablast comes up just shy. Almost tries to send it in the net. Now, quick passing play. Think fast. Heading right to you, and Enoch will. Puts it up to the top corner. Well done with the communication in order to expect that one. And 2 goals away now for Demons Raw.
Definitely a strong goal, as we're seeing here. Enoch is just so fast when he has that pummeler speed activated. So getting a KO just means that they lose so much core control, so much overall balance over the field here, especially with all that, new power they're finding and that new speed they're finding, because peak and bulk up just insanely powerful here. But it does seem that Switch is able to make a play in here with that new Spark of Resilience, able to stay alive longer, able to get both barriers now as they're trying to get this last one, kind of with Corplev making his way to one barrier, able to find it. Might look to Corplev here to secure the second one. Not quite sure yet. The Corplev comes out, but unfortunately doesn't land on the core, but it's gonna slide backwards. One small mistake is all that it takes to slip through and make a goal happen, but it doesn't mean that they're out by any means yet.
The other thing I just kind of noticed and thought that's probably worth mentioning. Toasty Local, of course, picked the eject button Kai here, which is not unnatural, of course, for Quest Esports, normally used to something like the eject button Imi, for example, right? But in this case, that Kai really needs some level of extra speed with the Blazing Pace. The Blazing Pace alone won't be able to allow you and enable the team to be as aggressive as they might like. And so in this case, Toasty Local has been forced to pick up whatever, and that's probably one of the other reasons why Kainu picks up the Chrono Boost in the last carousel, to deny it away from Toasty Local, who has no speed awakenings to his name right now, and just cannot have the same level of forward pressure or involvement that he might on another striker. So, something else worth noting, you see that come out there, up to the top side, Switch trying to buy some space, but now Enoch will punish on the Flying Phoenix. Still going on a KO streak here, and say what you will about Snake having to step away, but Enoch has put on a fantastic brawler performance in these past 2 games. stepping up to the plate when Demons Raw needed him most. Fire Flurry out of switch here, tries to buy a little bit more space. Toasty Local Barrage again trying to set it forward. Hamster Quest now trying to jump in, but still continues to just get hammered with so much damage coming out of Demons Raw. There's a Blabo out of the pitch. Switch looks for pursuit of the core. Hamster Quest will finally use that energy burst to send it back the other way. Bounces off the black hole. Switch might have an opportunity, and he'll send it down to the bottom corner. I think Quest Esports takes their first lead in this game.
Definitely, it is the first, but it might not be the last depending on how this set goes, because it seems they're trying and they're able to figure out these ways to stay alive a little longer, and it seems they're also finding these KOs. Kainoob is going to get taken off by an excellently placed Giga, and that's going to lead to both barriers being dropped here now, as Gumi might be panicking a little bit, but he has that little insurance of the core flip, but it's not enough because it's going to slip past right where he wouldn't expect it to, that small corner pocket, which is going to mean Quest Esports is going to take a set.
Maybe I needed to invoke his name. Beautifully done on the Giga Blast from Toasty Local, and then able to hold it with the barrage, send it to a position where your midfielder is, and let them do the rest of the job. Fantastically played there from Quest Esports, and now we see the first... is this the first spark that's been shown?
Spark Resilience.
Is it? Spark Resilience. Okay, so it's the third spark that's been shown, and it'll get picked up here by Switch, who now has 3 sparks, by the way. So Quest Esports certainly, has been struggling so far, but now missing everything but the speed, which admittedly is probably not the one you want to be missing if you're Switch. Even still, the extra power here is going to come in huge, and the extra stagger as well. There's a KO, finds the double barrier here as well, or almost didn't, but will collect it off of the rebound a couple times. Hamster Quest keeps it forward. Is looking for the goal here. Switch in the corner. Baits out for enough time. It'll send the pass up to Hamster Quest. Something like a 3-goal streak now for Quest Esports.
They definitely are on the roll. I mean, Switch with those 3 sparks, one of them being Spark of Resilience, might not be Spark of Agility, but now he's kind of unkillable with all this stagger, which is really strong against this comp here. So it's going to be a lot harder to see what they're going to be doing. Look at how big that stagger bar is, and he's able to get a barrier out of it, almost able to get the second one, but not quite, as Hamster Quest is going to find himself off the map, and it seems they're going to find a double KO with the core flip. I was saying he's unkillable, but I meant from stagger, not from just sheer and raw edge shots now, as we're going to be having to handle this as they're, fighting 2 in the goal, and they're able to punch it in.
Viewers, please blame that point on Spooked Altar's Caster Curse, who just tried saying that a player is unkillable in Omega Strikers. That is so far from the truth, and almost looks for it again. Can't find it there. Enoch tries to collect the core, and Toasty Local will blink back on that eject button, but again, fantastically done. It's all a matter of whether or not Demons Raw can find these KOs. Once they find the KOs, they're going to have the ability to execute. But now, Switch is able to put on so much pressure, nearly becoming the mayor of Sparkington City. Looking for the shot there as Hamster Quest can't do it. Now has the Flying Phoenix to send it home. Set point once more for Quest Esports.
I mean, if Switch is able to, keep this pressure up, he's going to get that last spark. He is going to be the mayor. So this is not a good set to lose if you're Demons, if you want to win this game here. And it seems they're not planning on it, with the core flip coming out, and they're going to wait for all those blobbles to go away, the blobos, and now they're trying to get this through, but they're not able to quite find the mark, but they are now, as now the goal is open. They're in the net. Just trying to get through. Gumi waiting there with the core flip, trying to make something happen, not quite able enough. Dribbling from Kainoob is going to be able to make a pass to himself with the black hole. Core flip's going to come out, and it's going to shoot it right into that goal with the help of the Luna Nuke, just in case they wanted to strike it. They would have been dead, because Toasty Local just has no HP, and now we're in match point.
Match point, podium point for Demons Raw. They take this goal, they qualify for day 2. Barrier quickly gets, and by the way, how unsavable was that virtually once you layer on top the crater in addition to the energy burst coming out of Kainoob. So well done, and again, so well executed to set up and cover for nearly all options. Now, goal barrier is open, and it slips right by. Gumi will send it home. Quest Esports, you might have thought you had hope, but the Demons Raw will shove it right back in your face. They'll qualify for day 2.
I mean, I think they might have found that match was in fact hard enough, and As we're going to see here, Demon's Raw is going to take this victory. I mean, they played extremely well here, where, we see here a well-deserved MVP from Kainoob as he's able to put out just the performance that we honestly expect from Kainoob at this point. He was just holding it down with 163 redirects. He was just able to play that game so well, and all the damage as we're seeing here, Luna, 37,000.
Yeah, Kainu, you mentioned 163 redirects. Also, by the way, that is 100% goal participation. He either scored or assisted every goal for Demons Raw. That's the MVP performance, and that's the MVP from the North American Strikers League in Season 2. That's the caliber of players that Quest Esports is going to find themselves against here pretty soon. And while some of the teams might not have showed up today in the way that a lot of folks might have hoped, certainly Quest Esports had. They showed up. They had a lot to prove this week, in this weekend. Having the ability, they made pretty close runs, in the North American Strikers Academy in that league. And now they're looking to prove that they are a very strong contender up there with the PPLs, the PLXs, and the like, who are all vying for spots in the Tier 1 league. So they've proven their worth, and it'll be interesting to watch them continue to progress and whether or not they'll be able to clinch a podium place later today.
Yeah, I mean, Quest Esports definitely had quite the run, as you said. They were able to get to so many games to the point where maybe, as Icarus once did, went too close to the sun and the demons had to bring them back down.
I I have an update from AfreecaQuest. He says, "Good team. They could prob win NASA."
Probably. I mean, I would assume so. The
I would
demons,
think.
yeah, the demons have made their appearance, and now, as you said already, they have secured their spot for day 2.
Unless the Sad Boys are also in NASA, in which case maybe they don't win it. But folks, we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the AfreecaTV Omega Strikers Invitational. Coming up next is Goats Esports versus Bozo Bunch, another North American Strikers Academy team that has been on quite a run today. You won't want to miss the one coming up next.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the AfreecaTV Omega Strikers Invitational. We're winding down with day one. This may be the last one, probably the second to last series of the night. I'm here with Magic 8 Ball, and the teams have already done map pick ban. They're so ahead of themselves for the first time ever.
Yeah, they're ahead of the game. They definitely want to be playing the game because they're going to be playing on Clarion as the decider, and I'm very excited for that. We're going to be going to Night Market first, Atlas Labs second, and then Clarion as the potential game 3. We will see. The matchup is Goats Esports versus Bozo Bunch. The Bunch has been battling today, absolutely outperforming and even getting so far as to this losers quarters set, which almost everyone I've talked to has said, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, Bozo Bunch, an incredible overperformer, some might say today, making it past many teams. Many people would have just predicted them to lose to, like, 2 L's make a W, the remnants of Core Overflow plus Lumos. Like, that is a core that has some of the players that have won much bigger tournaments than the Bozo Bunch have entered so far, right? The Pro League Invitational, that had Lumos in the winning roster. That had Streak, the former teammate of 2 of the members. Slop was also on that roster technically, helped them get to that place in the first place. Like, Bozo Bunch has overcome many star-studded teams to get here, but Goats have just been consistent performers. They fell to the Sad Boys, but who can blame them?
And yeah, looked like Fudgy was playing incredibly well earlier today from all the sets that we've seen. Both of these teams look like they could come out on top and throw a punch that all of a sudden completely knocks it out. All in all, I'm very excited to see which of these teams could actually turn the tides and make it to tomorrow.
All right, so we should be loading in now. The teams are ready, and this first map, Atlas's Lab, very, very violent. We might even see the Fudgy Waffles Luna, usually an Era player, but has been known to pick up those characters when necessary. It'll be very interesting.
Here we go. First and foremost, the lab. Players looking at the hovers. We do see the Luna being hovered early on. Killiest, of course, on the characteristic Vice. The standard stuff that we saw before. I love Pixelmon. Looking at the Zentaro could be interesting. The Era ban actually going out first. Interesting. Deciding to take care of the midfielder of the Bozos and preventing that from even getting on the board.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because I has 2 main picks, Octavia and Era. And if you're trying to kill, you'd rather have that Octavia be against you because you could just play Luna Juliet Vice. Even though the Zentaro is taken off the table, this is a lot of damage that they have to deal with. And although I has been incredible on the Octavia, this might be a little too much.
This seriously might be a little bit too much. As we saw earlier, I mean, even though Mirabeg and Oshino Core Flip won that game, an Octavia that's going up against the Juliet can be so rough to play against, and we're gonna have to see if Dropletto can at least help battle back. And they're gonna be starting out. Here we go, losers quarterfinals of this wonderful invitational tournament. This is the first in a best of 3 between the Bozo Bunch and Goats Esports.
Be a very intense one as Ilo picks him on right off the bat, winning the strike wars, but they cannot get the barrier defended by Forgot. A little bit of luck on the angle on the top side as well. The Fortress, but this time they're just focusing Dropletto. Less mobile the X is, but that leaves I ready and open to just take the barriers themselves. Getting both. Forgot can defend this easily against the lone Luna with no cooldowns, and suddenly the Goats are on the back foot.
They are. Full barriers down means anything could happen. Killius in front of the net, but with 2 players blocking that path. Gonna be taken down quite quickly, quite swiftly. And some Sad Boys emotes going out, reminiscent of the team that took down Goats. Gonna be trying to push this one forward. All in all, I'm not seeing anything too crazy, but if I can at least maintain this crazy core control against Killius, like, it's gonna be curtains, right? A Vice can only do so much with an Octavia on your path.
Yeah, it's the duality of this composition, right? You're picking the double damage projectile users, Vice and Luna, against the Octavia. But both of them just crumble to the core control if the Octavia is allowed to play the video game, is allowed to maintain the flow state, is allowed to stay alive. But that's a lot of damage on the bottom left corner. Dropletto, staggered eye, staying alive though. The stagger swagger start that we did not mention too much has been quite good, and unfortunately with Forgot being now deceased, that is another point, well, the first point on the board for Goats.
And now the back and forth makes so much more sense. The stagger swagger would be so good to increase the sustainability of Era in these compositions. Octavia has so much less to work with in terms of the base stagger. So on top of the Spark of Strength being the other starting Awakening, it makes a lot of sense why this is the matchup that we have in front of us, as these players are starting to get KO'd very quickly.
Oh, and Kilius almost wins the strike war against Forgot, but the log is thankfully there as a cooldown for the Bozo bunch. They take the barrier instead, working on a bit of a goal here. Kilius goes up, tries to dribble around Forgot. Fudgy Waffles comes in, and that is the number 3 midfielder in the entirety of North America as voted by the top players. So, you know, maybe you gotta fear Luna a little bit.
And Fudgy is one of my favorite players to watch. Just the way that he can not only dribble the ball, but get into those like checkmate situations consistently is very impressive to watch. As you saw right there, he can just completely cross up a goalie at the least expected moment.
Right there, going in, pressuring Forgot on the top side, but it will be I Love Pixelmon. Palmy being taken out. The core goes around the tiny Luna, but Dropletto cannot get a play on Achilles, hanging out on the other side, trying to put pressure on that last barrier there. And while all that's happening, that's just ticking down the respawn timer. Juliet is back, and the Goats once again will mount the offense. But as I say, that immediate KO on I Love Pixelmon. Palmy does not get to play the game this point at all, and the layered offense with the Octavia backing it up. That's another goal on the board for the Bozos as we head into this point 5.
This comp from the side of the Bozo bunch makes so much sense because you have Dropletto, who, if that player is not getting focused down, that X is not getting focused, is going to be completely throwing out so many punches that can easily just solo KO whoever he wants on the enemy team. They're all pretty squishy, at least right now. So if they're focusing the Octavia, that means that Dropletto is going to get the run of the house and can easily just start going for KOs himself, and has that vicious Vambrace to make sure that he stays healthy even if they do try and chunk him out. It's a very smart decision from this forward brawler player, and it seems like it's going to be working out, although he just got sent to that diagonal in his goal box.
Yeah, it's a very, at least one of us will be able to play the game type of composition. But right now, Fudgy Waffles locking it down in the corner, has the flip, tries to get the barrier, but directly to Forgot it goes, and Kilius cannot catch up with the core in time. One barrier being given up, traded for a KO. Good positioning, and another KO comes in. Forgot slightly mispositioned and caught up by the top side, and I alone will not be able to defend this as the passing plays are coming through.
Oh, tried to get that bounce off, but no. Just standing in the goal box cannot be doing enough against the 1v3, and it is very hard to do it as an Octavia. That's going to be the set going over to Goats Esports. Going to be going over to the draft, find the Awakenings to activate, and they're going to try and get this one through. There's one spark, and that is the Spark of Agility. Which one will be taken first? The Twin Drive going over to Kilius. Makes a lot of sense. Want to get more Blinks, more Thunderstrucks down. And of course, you see the Juliet picking up that Spark of Agility. Going to be continuing to scale. The Deadeye Denial from Forgot to prevent the Luna from really doing tons of damage from long range. Makes so much sense, but still going to get rewarded with a specialized trainings anyways. This is a very good draft situation from the Goats.
Yeah, really good draft from the Goats, and I actually think Forgot blundered there.
I
You do
agree.
not want to deny the Deadeye in that situation when Luna already wants to deny the Specialized from the X. If you don't deny Deadeye and it is taken, Dropletto gets Specialized, but now you've denied Dropletto indirectly while not getting anything for yourself, so you kind of just denied 2 of your teammates, including yourself.
So overall, going to be a rough situation from the draft for the Bozos. They're going to have to try and pick up the scraps of what they can, pick up the playstyle, and hopefully start executing cleanly, but it's going to be even harder with all of the damage that is going to be coming through from these buffed up characters, these buffed up strikers. They're going to be going into overtime shortly in this volley. trying to get some KOs early on. All in all, still just solid play from the GOATs.
Yeah, the GOATs are staying stable. The passing plays are coming through, and they're not forgetting to keep damage up on I to prevent the regen, and even getting KOs on these stagger swagger targets. But I has built up some flow state, the aerial speed doing wonders for this Octavia's mobility. Dropletto goes in, but the flip will ward him away, and a great snipe cross map from Budgie Waffles catches the clear from Forgot.
And Kiliast, of course, one of the aficionados of the Vice goalie, right? Probably him and Merchant gonna be the two that take the cake for the best in the role with that striker. But easily has been doing such a good job at defending and helping the KOs for the rest of the GOATS roster. It seems like he is just a perfect addition here and can easily support any situation that they have. Oh, a great save by Forgot.
Yeah, loses just in time, and I picks up the KO on the other end. Body blocked is the rocket by Dropletto. The passing plays come through to the top side, but the stun will halt it for now. Kiliast has the strikes, but Dropletto is just covering. And despite the good defense by Kiliast, as you mentioned, Kiliast playing it very well, but the Vice just ran out of tools.
Not enough in the shed. Gonna have to buy a bigger one. Maybe get a different piece of land to put it on in that situation. But all in all, like that wasn't like a super flashy goal. Like I believe I just got one good drop the base, and that was all it took. Ooh! Speaking of dropping the base, how about dropping those arms onto the goalie of GOATS? My goodness.
Bellringer does double duty, gets the KO, sends the core at the perfect angle, and the Bozos, despite getting KO'd so often, they're finding these core control opportunities. They are getting the barriers. Like right now, I staggered almost, but a great elusive out. Still taking a lot of damage, but will not get caught by the crater of Budgie Waffles. Still staying alive, Dropletto in position, but flips a little prematurely. It gets sent around by Kiliast, and I is looking even lower, has the stagger swagger speed and the flow state for now, trying to make a play with it, trying to pass it up. Budgie Waffles assisting, but Dropletto sends it around the barrier. No barrier for the Bozos on this play, trying to get another one, but still defended away by Kiliast, and the GOATs manage to hold.
GOATs managing to hold, but they're still getting the runaround for sure. Wait, that's Forgot getting taken off the board. Goalie down, and anything can happen. Make that the midfielder as well. It's just a lone X in the goal. My goodness, it's such a feast or famine with this KO composition. Either they're gonna get those KOs, they're gonna completely remove their opposition from the map, or they're gonna get the runaround because they overcommit to a target that is able to stay standing, and it is simply going to be a matter of executing for the Bozo Bunch if they can manage it to try and either turn things around on these players when they go in too deep, just like that, or they end up getting taken out themselves.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? If they can maintain this core control in the midfield, it's all good, but sometimes, a little too more often than sometimes, Forgot is the one who steps up a little too close to the wall, like right there. Still stays alive this time, though, as Dropletto is the one who goes down. Picks him on getting the punch onto two. I trying to dribble around the stun, using the flow state speed, continuing to keep it up, slowed for a moment by the Vice, and the flow state ends, but that buys enough time for Dropletto to return. Forgot does not get mixed up by the Juliet. Once again, Philly is trying to set up an opportunity to go in, gets the core, but this core is immediately stunned by Forgot. And yet again, the GOATs, this consistent offense. It's not getting anything too quickly, but they're just keeping it up.
Keeping it up, Forgot has a flip up, and that's Dropletto, who's able to walk away barely from the Supernova, not getting stunned, and getting a pass right from I to send that one to the top corner. That's the Bozo Bunch hanging on and turning things around for this draft, and they're going to be rewarded handsomely with a chrono boost for this X, but they're not going to be able to deny the spark, it looks like, if he does take it. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, did they leave it up? Because if they want to deny Chrono or Cast here, they have to take it on two characters where it's completely useless, right? So this Octavia, realistically, is going to get one of those.
Gonna take the boost, gonna increase the effectiveness of that haste ability, and going to increase the duration. But the Vice is going to get longer stuns from that Thunderstruck ability, as well as a better slow on that power chord, as we just saw used in that last volley. This is going to be an interesting turnaround from the Bozo Bunch if they can maintain, but there's a lot of damage that they have to get through first.
But the thing is, with that Stagger Swagger, if I can dodge away for just a moment, it can turn the entire game around, refresh, everything, get the flow state rolling. Dropletto, though, trying to win a strike war, but Kilius will just win them all. The KO will come through. I will have to do everything in this midfield currently, trying to do everything, but we'll just maneuver to the top side, a little too close to the wall, and the Bozo Bunch, unfortunately, are hugging the wall a little too much.
Hugging the wall like it is their friend, not unlike a tree that they find in the woods and hang their belongings on. This is going to be a good opportunity for Goats to score and prove that they've got this, but I has been doing so well at maintaining this flow state, at using that Sonic Boom at the perfect moment to not only slow players down, but send that core through. And because it is such a short cooldown, it is perfect for keeping up the momentum. And speaking of, one more bell ringer from Dropletto sends it right past Kilius with a flying core. And that's 1-0. Things are turning around for the bunch.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been more perfect timing there as well. What perfect timing on that dash into the crater. Looks like this goal is inevitable here as Dropletto has to defend against two. Top is covered by the Juliet, bottom by the Vice. But on that previous point, that goal scored by the Bellringer of Dropletto, that was like 2 seconds into overtime. Could not have been more perfect timing to make it so hard for Kilius to react to the extra core speed. And right now trying to get another Bellringer play, but no, again, it's so difficult to defend against this Juliet. They managed to do so though, and I is starting to scale. Has to be careful though. No stagger left. Still manages to get hands on the core. Maintains flow state for just long enough to get both barriers. And despite the stun on the core, despite the meter all being burned, the Bozo Bunch are in a very good spot.
Bozo Bunch was certainly in a great spot here. They've got these gold barriers down and a breakaway on this core. But you can see that the members of Goats are just surrounding Dropletto in a triangle, trying to figure out a way through, trying to make sure that this goal is defended properly. But the drop the base, gonna get hit away. A beautiful evade from Kilius, but unfortunately, Dropletto able to use that energy burst and send a flaming hot core right into that goal barrier. That was very, very clean, all things considered, but even if they're able to diminish the value that this Octavia is getting, like I said, this X is just going to get so much more.
Yeah, it was like a highlight play made by Kilius, right? The perfect elusive, but now just completely slowed by the extra debuff duration on the chrono boost, and with both barriers down, Dropletto pounces on that core. And despite the heroics from this Vice goalie of Kilius, it will be another set on the board for Bozo Bunch, another moment of scaling, and really now could choose to deny a whole bunch of things. Could go for the spark of
Yeah, I was
resilience.
going to say,
is,
definitely the spark here. You have to. Even though the tempo swing does come through for the Juliet, which means it's going to be even harder for that X to kill her, it's very much worth it to not let the absolute raw power and speed come through for that Juliet. Instead, picking up the perfect form for the X. We do see the extra special going over to the Luna, who already got the specialized training, so Fudgy Waffles could really be a difference maker here in this next couple of sets. You can just land a couple of really nice specials. But it is going to be... It's going to be so hard to try and maintain this, especially when Alpalmi cannot stay above stagger. This is... Wait a minute, it gets turned around! What is going on?
Yeah, the KO onto Dropletto, not onto Palmy, as I think everyone would have expected. And so much damage being put onto I, KO'd by the Juliet of Apalmi, passing up, looking for this barrier to stun will assist in that as well. Dropletto forced to elusive, doesn't want to get caught by the sweet spot of the specialized extra special Luna Crater. But once again, the respawn comes in, but as soon as it comes in, another KO comes through. The cast last stun, as you mentioned, just so overwhelming, but I just does it all.
I might be able to do it all. To have that flow state up, and anything can happen with an Octavia with a flow state. Fortunately, finally gets taken down due to a nice energy burst from Fudgy. And sending that one in for security is Kilius. It's not over for the Goats, as we just saw, right? This past draft definitely increased their damage potential even more than it already was, which is a crazy thing to say, to think about. The fact that you can get even more insane with the damage than you already were. But damage scales, right? The later you go into the game, the harder it's going to be to stay alive. But at the same time, the later you go into the game, the easier it is for this Octavia to start really running house. And it is just going to be this unstoppable force versus the immovable object here as we go later into this set.
Yeah, it's like the unstoppable force versus the unstoppable force trying to kill the unstoppable force.
Yeah.
And right there, it looks like the side of violence has won for the moment. Dropletto now trying to get a revenge KO, succeeding in doing so with the assistance of Forgot, as this Dubu is now playing up the field, trying to double midfield here, goes in, Dropletto trying I, backing it up, and finally getting the barrier, the Bozo Bunch, once again with the core control, pushing it forward into Dropletto. The stuffing power cannot be underestimated.
What I really like as a difference here, an adjustment that I has made, is instead of trying to get these turnaround KOs on players against the walls that decide to try and go for the kill on them, instead they're using it now as a stuffing tool, as a way to get it not only through the goal, but also goal barriers and through this tight corridor that is on the top and bottom of this map. When that Atlas Lab black hole is up, it's so hard to get it past this Octavia and really consistently get it around her. It's a very good adjustment to be made to just say, all right, I'm just going to be using this to try and score.
Yep. Oh, Forgot. Does not forget about the last hit of that Octavia special, but the stun comes in from Kilius, passing it back to Fudgy Waffles, which goes in, but this time Forgot is ready. Once again, though, the rocket dribble attempted, but I has the flow state now. Just has to be a little bit careful around the Palmy Juliet, but no punch available means that I is safe for now. Has to be very careful here, too. Almost gets pushed by the Tofu Fortress into that Luna special, but instead of all that danger, it will just be Dropletto on the top side. This roster of the Bozo Bunch, they are completely scaling so hard in this tournament.
Yeah, for real. It seems like every time they come out of a match, they gain more EXP, and they're just gaining level after level after level because they've seriously leveled up in this as 2 goal barriers go down, Saya.
Hit back from the Bellringer to flip the KO onto Fudgy Waffles, and with the MVP of the team gone, with the midfielder gone no less, this defense is going to be very difficult, but Kilius, the hero, has to defend against a flip with X perfectly in front of the goal, and unfortunately, as heroic as he has been, even the greatest goalie cannot save that one.
Unfortunate situations in the goal box for the Goats, as they're going to have to limp away from that one. 3-1 in set counts. It looked like a very dominant start for Goats. Just completely turned around. What are you laughing at?
Look at the goals on the side of the Bozos. What is that scoreline?
That's a perfect scoreline. It's literally, that's exactly what you want to see, to be honest. Right? Like that is the ideal. Is the fact that this Octavia, who is playing, you know, quote unquote midfield, although realistically, she plays very in your face. But no, it was Dropletto getting every single one of those final hits. Every single one. Octavia was only there to support and keep things moving forward. That's impressive.
Yeah. Very, very... I'm just surprised that, like, one of the Octavia specials didn't get the last hit on the core, but...
Yeah.
The synergy between Dropletto and I, getting the X strikes with the Octavia special, just the layering of pressure was so good from the Bozo so often, just so consistent in this game.
Mm-hmm. The funniest part about that is that Dropletto only had 23 shots. I had 68. Right? Isn't that crazy? And then Dropletto gets all of those goals. That means that Dropletto almost had like a 50% shot, like a goal to shot ratio. That's hilarious. That's crazy, actually. All right. We are done with Atlas's Lab. Game 1 going over to the Bozo Bunch. Again, potentially upsetting another team in this tournament. We are going to Night Market now. And I believe that this was Goat's pick.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on home. They're going to have, well, maybe not home field advantage, but they're going to have the map that they want. So let's see if they change up their strategy, figure out a way to break through that crazy midfielder.
Yep. And this map, there's a good chance both teams leave that era up, right? Both teams have an era player. Fudgy Waffles, of course, more known in terms of name, but has been rising up the ranks in terms of notoriety recently. And it'll definitely be interesting if we see an era duel on this map, as we are just about ready to get into it.
Just about ready to get into it. Game 2 for Goats versus the Bozo Bunch. And we're about to get started. We are in loading. We are preloading. Not loading exactly.
The preloading is a lot, yeah.
And I do believe that if Goats wins this, then if Goats wins this set, we are going to be seeing another set afterwards. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, okay.
So there are two conditions, okay? If Era's Kitten Club wins and Bozo Bunch wins their respective series, then loser semis will be today.
Okay.
In every other scenario, it will be tomorrow, as an Octavia ban is upon us.
An Octavia ban most certainly upon us. Maybe it was a good Octavia start. Is what I'm thinking. Otherwise, I wouldn't imagine it would really warrant the ban exactly. But we are gonna see Killiest switching to hovering the Rune instead, as Apalmi switches off of the Juliet. Okay, and there's the Drakkar. That's what I was expecting. We are gonna see the X era mirror match in the midfield.
I will say, this Drakkar goalie, I know it's like a comfort pick for Killiest and Breads. I know it's pretty chill, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, especially in tournament, like results-wise. I don't think it has really performed to the level that it should have.
As one Borg put it, outdated, potentially, on this Drakkar goalie. But Killiest needs to prove us wrong. And hopefully he'll do that here as we get into Game 2. Bozos versus Goats. Goats on the left, Bozos on the right, and that is an X at the top of the screen sent flying away down to the bottom of way below the arena.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Drakkar goalie does very well. If there's a melee character in your face, Drakkar goalie does a ton of chip damage. That X was just completely chipped down by the lock and load of Killiest over and over and over again. But Dropletto, while getting tagged with the Molten Bolt, just bell ringers and gets a KO on to Apalmi. And now with Apalmi out of the equation, the Bozo Bunch do what they do best. I to drop Leto to the bottom corner. We've seen this story so many times before.
Very interesting starter awakenings I want to talk about. We have peak performance and heavy impact. Heavy impact getting taken by both X's and Killiest on the Drakkar. And peak performance being taken by the Dubu and both eras. I think it makes more sense now why you have the Octavia ban, because you don't want that stagger to start building on an Octavia who was guaranteed peak performance. And that's just so many things that you have to deal with on the draft. Makes a lot of sense. But we are going to be seeing these eras go very fast, potentially. We are going to be seeing these X's hit very hard. As well as, it makes sense why that Drakkar was doing so much chip damage.
Yeah, not just that, the cooldown refund, but did you see that on the bottom left? Killiest had a little bit of a 1-2 combo, the shotgun into the strike shot actually to confirm the kill onto Dropletto. But the issue is, they can confirm that, but they can't confirm the goal here. They might have to expend a flip. That's best case scenario for the Bozos, but maybe even a best case scenario. No, that's not what you want there. Wait a second, was that? Yeah, that was Dropletto.
Yeah, that was Dropletto own goaling right there. That's so unlucky, trying to go for some punches on the X that was okeying. Forgot, but unfortunately could not get away from the core. And Fudgy is going to be awarded that goal. Oh, that's so unlucky. I think the bell ringer just barely dragged the core as he decided to dive over there with that bull rush. Oh, unfortunate.
But Killiest playing very, very well on this Drakkar so far. Dropletto taking so much damage on the bottom side. We'll have to elusive soon. Barely stays alive. for the moment as Fudgy and Apalmi try to go in. Great stun. Denies that for now as Dropletto trying to heal up a little bit. Has to elusive, has to get out of there, and does pick up the orb with the center speed. And that's Night Market for you. Look at that. Whenever you pick up the center speed gate, you just get control of basically the entire game for a moment. And, you know, the cooldown of that was actually reduced, by the way.
Wait, what?
In one of the patches, the cooldown for the center speed was reduced, and now it's even more over-centralizing than before.
I didn't even know that was a thing that happened.
Wait, forgot.
Wait, forgot. Speaking of, didn't know that things were happening. Forgot, did not know that core was coming his way, as he's going to be at the top corner. As Fudgy Waffles uses that speed boost to get down to the bottom, sends that one right past. That's going to be Goats Esports taking the lead for this set for right now. And all in all, I think that Goats seems to have much more familiarity and comfort on how to work around this map mode. Oh, wait a minute. That's a great tornado from Fudgy to catch Dropletto. This is a nice power play that we're going to see, although, well, sometimes you get a goal barriered on when you're in a power play.
Yeah, that's a critical goal barrier, especially since they maintain this one for now. The Bozos are still alive in this set, in this point, and are looking forward, but not long for this. Well, the barrier being taken as well. Fudgy Waffles will push it in, but forgot. No! No, forgot. That's the second own. That's the third own whatever the Bozos have done.
Oh my God.
One goal by Dropletto, a barrier, and the goal by Forgot. The only one clean of that is I at the moment.
We shouldn't jinx it. That is so unfortunate. The Bozos definitely playing a little bit like Bozos right there. We do see 2 sparks here on the board. Probably not going to be taken, probably not going to be preferred here in this situation, as we do see the Castellas getting taken for the Drakkar. Going to be having more speed debuff on the Molten Bolt, as well as just lasting a whole lot longer. We are going to see the Spark of Strength getting picked up by Dropletto, as well as the Knife's Edge for Apalmi, which is going to be very fun to watch, very fun to try and bait around.
Yeah, I'm surprised I doesn't go for it, but again, it is this map. Whoa, Fudgy Waffles, meanwhile, being KO'd. It is the map where you don't want to play on the edges too much. Night Market kind of focuses on the center a lot, but another KO comes through with the help of Forgot, who rolls in. And the Bozos starting this one on the right foot. They see to finish this goal, and that will not be the easiest task, as Fudgy Waffles is back up and controlling the center of the field.
Fudgy is one of the best power play, like deficit power play players I think I've ever seen. Like just the way that he can control the core and play keep away is just unmatched, in my opinion. You see, as he gets this goal barrier right here, Dropletto on a breakaway now. Kiliast definitely ready for that one. Gonna be sending that one with a core flip, not able to find it. Tornado comes through, the Maelstrom not gonna find any KOs, not gonna find the core either. I's gonna have control of this and try and dribble like Fudgy, but he's gonna send that core flip through, not gonna find anything. They're doing this triangle formation around Dropletto to prevent anyone from getting near that core, from that X from getting that core, and there are going to be no goals scored because of it. Finally, the Tornado finds someone in the power play for the Bozo Bunch, but it is not going to be worth it unless Dropletto can finally get the edge of the bell ringer with a nice pass down from I, getting bounced around by Kiliast. Nowhere to clear that one.
And you can see the solo queue genes of the Bozo Bunch really showing, right? Those dribbling plays, those solo dribbling plays, those tornadoes. Has to get out of there quickly. Okay. You can't elusive through that on this patch. That was either intentionally or unintentionally removed. And right now, Dropletto, though, being tagged still, doesn't matter, still gets the KO regardless. And if the Bozos win this set, they will scale massively. If something like a Spark of Resilience comes up for Dropletto, who has a Spark of Strength, that could be the difference maker.
That could be a huge difference maker, as he did not take the Vicious Vambrace this time. Instead, opting for the Slick Kicks, trying to get that speed, trying to get more security on the goals, but instead is going to lose out on security from KOs. I and Forgot are going to have to just try and dance around this very potentially heavily damaging composition from the Goats. Finally, Dropletto comes back online, and you have to wonder if the Bozos are going to be playing like this just pure strategy of, I'm just going to shovel this towards my X. can they just focus down Dropletto and then prevent any goals from ever getting scored?
That's exactly what they're doing here. That's what they're attempting, but Forgot gets a flip out. No flip in return from I Love Pixelmon as the flip comes out from I to stall it out even longer. Fudgy is there with the hits, but still no flip comes out from Apalmi. Will finally not use it there so late on the flip, and that just feels like a completely missed opportunity to get the barrier for the closest thing to free as you can get. Finally, the barrier will be taken by the Bull Rush. Apalmi trying to go in with the strike reset, but still unable to do so. Defended away by Forgot. A strike war situation, and Forgot will barely lose out. Well played from Apalmi.
Yeah, that's just a waiting game right there. That was a whole lot of chicken. I don't even think Apalmi had any cooldowns. I think it was just, all right, I'm about to walk at you. Although he did have the nice edge buff right in front of that goal line, so maybe Forgot was thinking, oh, if I don't hit this now, like I'm gonna get punched out, or like he's gonna just walk back and hit it anyways. So kind of a really tough situation there for this Dubu. Although he's been very much holding it down. I think that we haven't really highlighted him a ton, but he has been very solid on these Tofu Fortresses, very solid with these logs. Just, it's so hard to defend Night Market.
Yeah, and Goat definitely more proficient on this Era X, despite I and Dropletto being former X and Era 1 tricks. This organized play composition that has been a staple for so long, the Goats are veterans of. As they get more and more KOs, Kilius deflects the flip attempt with the strike shot. They pass a little bit for fun, despite the bottom being open, displaying their superiority on this comp.
Passing for fun. That was a lot of fun to watch, to be honest. I do enjoy a good breakaway between two forwards, and just showing like, hey, we know we can communicate with one another and guarantee these goals, as well as just show our proficiency with one another, with each other. Dropletto here showing, Fudgy is showing the proficiency on KOing others. This is going to be probably a very easy goal, but the Bull Rush misses. And wait a minute, Forgot could probably hold this.
Yeah, unless Apalmi gets the perfect dribble here, but no, Forgot is ready. Kilius now trying to pass it back and forth. The flip comes out from I. The strike war is not won by Fudgy Waffles as Dropletto is walking in, but slightly mispositions, and the opportunity is over once again. Trying to get in there. The strike reset will not get the barrier, though. We'll get it with the follow-up from I, who has to stay alive on this top side. Does not want to get hit with the knife's edge, but Kilius still managing to defend here. Forgot pushes up I with the speed on the core from the center. Dropletto buffed up, but still unable to find a good shot on the goal, as Fudgy Waffle is just playing second goalie so well.
Playing second goalie super duper well. This unbreakable wall, Dropletto just cannot find anything. I's gonna have to try and get this one in, but they just can't quite find an opening. Maybe finds a breakaway here. Fudgy's over on the other side, stranded. Dropletto's finally back online. Palmy's just deciding to go for the Oki, but I don't know if it's the right call. Fudgy and Kilius both looks like they used up all of their energy trying to save this one and could not manage it. I getting a goal for themselves and evening up this set count.
The Goats gambled it all on whether they could get it to the other side, and I just got the perfect shrink on both the core and Kilius. Kilius can no longer reach the top side, and that was why the Bozos could make that happen there. But a great shrink by Fudgy on Dropletto makes sure the Bellringer can't do anything, but a good clear up means Forgot's Tofu Fortress will be so good in backing up Dropletto. Strike war still won by Fudgy Waffles, though. He is continuing to help out on this defense immensely. The Tornado will set it up for Dropletto, but cannot win a strike war against two, as this time they get it to Palmy. For now, the log will save it away, and Forgot continuing to mount this defense.
This has been such a very good point on both sides, as both of these teams have shown exactly why they deserve to be here. The proficiency in the goalie's box, the presence on these sides, the potential for the KOs that is just constantly present and constantly threatened. Both of these teams know exactly what they're trying to do, know exactly their win conditions, and are just trying to work their best every time towards it. Another Tofu Fortress comes through at a perfect angle. Kilius with great saves here on this Drakkar. Excuse me. This game is so good. My throat is giving out, Saya.
Yeah, and look at that. Just picks the perfect dribble every time, but this time it's back onto Palmy and Fudgy Waffles in front of the net. All the barriers are open in this 0.5 situation. Fudgy will do some dribbling now. Dropletto gets a hand on it, sets it up for I potentially, sends it forward. The strikes will not come through for the Bozos, but will they? The bewitching beam is perfect from I in the last possible moment, and despite the massive deficit, the Bozos equalize in sets.
I think made the adjustment to start crashing the net instead of just trying to play in the midfield, trying to wait things out and keep Dropletto buffed and just, you know, try and give him the core. I's definitely been doing a good job of getting in there, and the Egoist is going to permit that even more. The Spark of Resilience is up for Dropletto. If it does get through, that's going to be really, really big, but I can't imagine that it would, right? No, it's going to get taken away by Kilius.
Yeah, taken away by Kilius. Like, you can't let that Spark of Resilience fall. But Missile Propulsion also taken away from Kilius. This draft, a lot of power picks going over. But my biggest fear here is the stacks on stacks.
Yeah,
on Fudgy Waffles.
I just saw that. Because Fudgy is just so good with speed, is so good at abusing those slick kicks and abusing these dribbles. Yeah, you could look at, he's already trying to stack it. He's doing this intentionally of just keeping this core on his own side of the field so that he can manage it. And all the while, Palmy is going to be here. Wait a minute.
The bewitching beam through 3 finds the barrier, predicts Kilius clear, and the Bozo bunch from a deficit, they create a massive lead. Dropletto and I just advance up the field. They have respawned now. They can afford to do this. The flip comes through. The barrier's taken, but that's a resource used. And once again, the meter being built up. Pixelmon cannot get it through too. Dropletto now dribbling forward. Molten bolted, but does not care. Stalling it out. Enough time for I to get the orb. Forgot walks up, does not let Pixelmon get the first strike on that. And yet again, this Tofu Fortress, the Missile Prop Tofu Fortress, a bit of an obstacle, but still cleared away by I. Now Dropletto advancing, looking for the bottom side, but Fudgy Waffles has stacked up, is so fast. How do you deal with this in the midfield, especially with the center speed is overwhelming. The KO is there onto Dropletto by Kilius. This is why you picked the Dakar goalie. The X can't bully you if the X is taken out by none other than you yourself.
My goodness. This is the plan for the GOATs coming into fruition. Finally, they're reaping what they sow. Although they can't get over that barrier. Wait a minute. A couple of core flips and barely gets shaken away by Kilius. Another one comes through for I Love Pixelmon, and that sends it past Forgot, who's definitely a little bit angry about that one, showing the Blobo. That was something crazy. Just the heads-up play from Kilius there was simply incredible.
Yep, very, very well played. And now the GOATs, with newfound energy, they stacked all the pancakes that last round for Fudgy in just a single point. And that it's just so hard to play if you're the Bozos. This era is incredibly fast. The breakaways are so powerful. Look at that. I has to expend the Bewitching Beam just to catch up with the play, and it's already set up perfectly for Fudgy Waffles and a Palmy as they're looking to snowball this set, send it to the next draft as quick as possible.
And the other thing too is that Fudgy has quick strikes. All of those dribbles that he's doing are also stacking up his energy. And so he's getting those core flips that much faster. He already has another one charged up. This is why you don't let Fudgy get these kinds of awakenings, even though you want things for yourself, even though, like, you should deny something like a stagger swagger, or you think that you need it to help. Like, this is just such a problem, and there's a reason he's one of the best midfielders in North America. And it is because he can do things like this with some awakenings that people might not think are like the super duper strongest, but with Fudgy and as the pilot, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, people kind of forgot about stacks. I'm not saying a lot of people, because I feel like the top players still know how overwhelming speed is, but quick strikes has definitely been a high level staple since the very inception of the Awakening. Then it got buffed to do like double what it already does in terms of energy. And if you ask anyone who's decent at the game, they know quick strikes is incredibly powerful, and Fudgy with the double combo of speed and the strikes. Imagine if Fight or Flight comes up in this next draft, because you know Fudgy Waffles is going to get MVP. If this point is scored and Fight or Flight is up, I think that is just curtains.
Well, let's see if they are able to manage it. They're going to have to get through this powerful midfield goalie duo, and as I say that, Fudgy gets that score and definitely is going to earn the MVP for this set. Let's see what happens in the draft. I'm a little bit scared. No,
Safe
okay.
for now.
There is Demolitionist, though, which I think that probably Fudgy takes here.
Yeah, it is also an incredibly strong Awakening, contesting to be one of the most powerful in the game as well, along with the little oopsie where it sometimes gives you double or triple the refund. But a lot of power in these Awakenings. The X at the final stage of the draft cannot be denied. We'll get the tempo or the 1-2 punch or the bulk up. So we'll see how that falls. Goes for the 1-2 as the prime time is picked up from Forgot. But my question is, can I make use of this Monumental?
Yeah.
Because if they get a striker advantage out of nowhere, that could be what takes them to this 5th set. But if not, it just feels so overwhelming. Look at that.
Like, the bulk up was right there, which I feel like would help, you know, the same... It would do a similar thing. It would increase the damage on that ability and your Bewitching Beam and give you even more speed to work with. I don't know if I completely agree with this pick. Unfortunately, I has already sent out 2 Maelstroms, and none of them have found anything as a goal gets scored as I was rambling. Like, I just don't know if the value's there.
All right, it's time for Stacks on Stacks check-in. 64 stacks
Oh
just
God.
in the first point. Fudgy Waffles is taking over this game once again, but this time it's the story of Dropletto and I, but Dropletto is already staggered and KO'd. That took like 3 seconds, and it's already a striker advantage for the side of the GOATs. They're looking to take this to a 3rd game, to take it to Clarion Test Chamber, and honestly, I gotta cheer for the GOATs here. I want to see that game 3 on the new map.
I also want to see the game 3 on the new map, and as much as I do love the Bozos, I also have the utmost respect for the GOATs, and they're the GOATs for a reason. They're probably going to end up clutching this one out. There's a mountain to climb in front of the Bozo bunch, and Mountain GOATs, these players are.
You're so right. They do reside on top of the mountain that the Bozos are looking for here as the flip comes out, but deflected by I. Wait a second. With Dropletto respawning, this is their opportunity with Fudgy Waffles down. The stacks have been erased. Dropletto going in. They can't find a barrier yet, but soon to follow, the Missile Propulsion Tofu Fortress will send it forward yet again. 3 seconds left for them to make the most of it. And just like they've done so many times before on the top side, pass from I to Dropletto. And maybe, just a maybe, this could be the game they win instead.
That was a crazy heads-up play too by Forgot, who decided to say, oh, wait a minute, I could just Tofu Fortress this, and got the central speed boost, Tofu Fortress, and just completely kept that one in play in the game. Unfortunately, there's no man advantage right now for the Bozo bunch, and they're going to have to fight for that to make it happen, as Forgot is just going to get completely pounded by I Love Pixelmon, who has that specialized training and is going to be doing so much more damage with that X Maximus. But Dropletto, if he could find players by the edge, this could be the chance that they need.
Get both flips expended, but they still get the barrier no less. But a KO onto I might mean the end of the chance in this point, as Dropletto's taking so much damage. Forgot was the one who was low, but Dropletto has no meters, healing up now, looking to stay alive, to keep the chances of the Bozos alive here. But Forgot is the one who's taken out. I must flex the goalie for now, but Dropletto, no way, at the top side, finds the goal out of nothing, not even in overtime.
Hilius was walking just a little bit too far. And I think the Bellringer combined with the central speed boost maybe, or just maybe it's the 1-2 punch.
You know, the 1-2 punch for sure there.
And
so
that just set the core
asleep at the
flying.
wheel for half a second, and that's all it takes for an additional core speed.
That's another 2 goal barriers down as these cooldowns are back online. The tornado. You call it a caster's curse, call it whatever you want. That's the reason that these players are out here and I'm up here in the commentator booth. That was impressive from I and Dropletto to completely 180 this game.
All right, interesting choice to make here. Perfect form being picked up means that fight or flight has to be denied by Apalmi, or else it drops to I. And I loves fight or flight. Like, this is...
Oh
like,
my God.
fight or flight and quick strikes are the 2 awakenings that I will pick over anything else. And of course, if it fell down to the era of Fudgy, that probably would have been game. You know, the quick strikes, the stacks, the fight or flight all together with what I'm assuming are the slick kicks, you know. But all the power level of everyone has gone up yet again. Dropletto now a force to be reckoned with that perfect form in terms of damage as well. Everyone's got to be a little bit careful when they step near the edges.
Well, they definitely have to be careful, but so does Dropletto, as he's going to try and just walk away using the Stagger Swagger speed. Another interesting thing to note here is that Fudgy Waffles now has 2 Size Awakenings, as well as Quick Strike. And if there's ever been a Strike Warrior, it is Fudgy Waffles. I don't think that anyone could probably win a Strike War against this player right now. That is what we're dealing with. That is what the players of Bozo Bunch are going to have to deal with. But there's so much damage.
Yeah, asleep for half a second, really. You can't even blame I in that situation. They were just sitting there for less than half a second, and that's all it takes for... and more damage comes through, this time on the side of the Bozo Bunch. A Palmy being taken out, Dropletto looking to make the play, and look at how I plays with this fight or flight, the strike, the step back. It just looks like Octavia gameplay here for good reason. Dropletto stuffs out the core flip from Kilius even. What a play.
Is Ghost about, and I don't mean this in like a negative way, but just, like, Goats had this in the bag. They had a goal. They were 1-0 with 2 sets like 5 goals ago, and they have just been getting scored on and scored on and scored on ever since then. It like a complete train has been coming at the tracks down them, and they've just been having to stare it down. That is what this Bozo Bunch has turned into. They have completely leveled up. The reverberation means that Forgot's going to be so much better with these logs, having so much more abilities, and is going to have so much more stagger. Can't get okied. Like, just everything in this composition has scaled to perfection, aged like fine wine, but they still need to execute.
Yeah, look at the health bars. They're incredibly low. Forgot is down, and the flip is available for I Love Pixelmon to the bottom side. And despite all of that scaling, both player and actual in-game awakening-wise, the Goats still have that monster of Fudgy Waffles, the monster of the X of a Palmy here. And that damage is not to be understated as I try to send to the top side. But look at Dropletto. Dropletto can't play the game.
Yeah, Dropletto seriously can't play the game as the Papega gets thrown out by Kilius. I mean, what do you do against an era that's constantly debuffing you, a Molten Bolt coming at your face every 20 seconds, an X Maximus that's getting in your face every 20 seconds? Like, it is just so much to deal with, and most of it is getting focused on Dropletto. Finally, I is taking some of the heat, and these players are going to have a chance to play the game. But a burned core flip means that there's not going to be a great chance. Finally, Dropletto was able to land a couple of punches, and that 1-2 is going to be so powerful, so strong. They're going to have a really good opportunity as this Maelstrom comes down. Kilius has to burn this core flip, and Pixelmon's not going to be able to carry that one with the Bull Rush. It is Dropletto staggered now. This is a great opportunity for the members of the Goats to turn this game back around, climb up that mountain once again, and Kilius barely gets a clutch strike shot to keep this one from getting that barrier.
Yeah, but look at this. Forgot. Oh, lets the barrier go, but takes the barrier on the other side. Wait, I is here. The bell ringer will not take it from I Love Pixelmon, but a missed strike by I means the end of that point despite the clutch. Dropletto sending it to the wrong place at the worst possible time despite all that Forgot took the barrier. But it's another point. It's another chance. All they need is 2. And it is still very possible. And they have another game to fall back on even.
It is more than doable for the Bozos to end things right here. Move on to the loser semifinals of this Invitational tournament. They've just got to get this one cleared through. 2 getting hit by the Bewitching Beam, and this is a perfect opportunity. I has been so good on these Bewitching Beams as well. We talked about Fudgy constantly debuffing Dropletto. Let's talk about I constantly debuffing Pixelmon, constantly debuffing a Palmy, shutting him down. Dropletto's just over here. I comes in with that Egoist and is able to turn things around, Saya. And that's the craziest strike I have ever seen. How did you get there, I? How did you know to just shove that one through Kilius? How did you know?
It had the coverage tornado on the top side as well. People have started to forget with the meteoric rise of the I Octavia that this guy started. They started as an Era 1 trick. and they still know the tools of the trade. Some would say some parts of them better than anyone else, but Drop Leto, the former X1 trick on the pick, the Arrow Tornado, the Magical Maelstrom, the Bozo Bunch want to advance right now, but Fudgy Waffles will not allow it. Fudgy Waffles has flipped with the full stacks to the top side, still defended away by I and Forgot, but Fudgy Waffles is continuing to dribble. They cannot get it past, and Drop Leto finally an opportunity, but the strike shot will send it right back to the Era. The flip is missed from Forgot. The Tofu Fortress is unfavorable. The Maelstrom will save it for now to the top side. The Bozo Bunch will hold on, but still, it is looking difficult as Fudgy controlling the midfield to the bottom side. Forgot does not have the speed, and Fudgy Waffles alone will push the goats past the finish line.
If anyone ever asks what I think the craziest Era mirror match that has ever happened is, it was that goal, that point right there. That was two Eras that are masters of their craft, going back and forth at one another, turning things around, sending their abilities in the most creative and interesting ways, and striking and being those incredible midfield presences with that core, and understanding exactly how to maneuver it, and barely Fudgy showing the experience, showing exactly why he was voted in that as the third best midfielder in North America, potentially in the world. That was awesome.
Yep, and as both teams catch their breath, as we must ready for a Game 3 on the new map, on what people are dubbing Pokemon Stadium, Mario Party, this will be a massive change of pace.
Very. This is going to be so interesting. I have no idea what players are going to want to pick, right? Because the map can change so much that you have to just go with what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And the bans, right? Octavia is so good on Clarion Test Chamber, on quite a few of the variants. She is incredibly favored, but KO comps are also incredibly strong. So it really, really depends on whether. I think it might come down to Goats picking full KO and Bozo picking on Octavia comp again.
And if that's, I mean, we did see that before, right, on Atlas's lab, and Bozo Bunch end up clutching that one out. So it's going to be a little bit different with Clarion, right? But all in all, like, I don't know if picking that crazy KO comp is really what worked for them, because Achilles on the Drakkar honestly was, I think, saving a lot more, right? I think that was definitely a smart pick. Even though we could talk about whether or not Drek is actually good or not, he was comfortable. He was making a lot of really, really good saves, right? Like the one at the end there with the Maelstrom coming in, that perfect core flip, and being able to send that one away. The strike shot was really good as well. Like, that's the kind of presence that we need from a goalie if you're the Goats. I think that you have to pick that again. And because of that, you're not going to have like a ton of damage all the time to deal with that Octavia.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting, and I'm not sure if I'm ready after that last one.
No.
The ending was ridiculous. They had it on the very goal line before the flip came out from the Goats, turned the whole situation around, and Fudgy just stalled it forever in the midfield, eventually got the goal around 2, and it was just ridiculous how long he was holding.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like, Fudgy is the best player in deficit power play situations. When you're 2v3, if your second is Fudgy, like, you're good. You're gonna be fine. Like, honestly, 8 times out of 10, you're gonna hold that. Like, that is how good he is in those situations. He's crazy. I could go on. I'm not gonna go on too much longer. We do have a long game ahead of us, though.
Yep. Today has been the craziest day of Omega Strikers I've ever seen. I have never seen as many set 5s in a day ever. And I have not seen as many set 5.5s in a day ever. If we had to pick them for set 5.5 like we had for Nassau playoffs, no one would get it right.
No, nobody would get it right.
0 people.
That's so funny. My goodness. The only other thing that I can think about would be like OSAS Season 1, where like a bunch of those games went like super, super long during the final bracket, the final day. Like, that was a crazy a crazy tournament as well. That was a crazy day, but even then, I don't think it stacks up here. And that is because I remember casting for like, I think I did like a 3 or 4 hour block straight, and like that was just like 2 sets because they played like 6 matches, like, and that was crazy. This is gonna go even crazier.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we try to do 1-set blocks today. And that's why we're swapping out after this, no matter what happens in terms of the next set being here or not, because this one's going the distance too. Like, it doesn't end.
It refuses to end. Omega Strikers will go on for as long as Audi supports it and keeps on the servers. That is how I'm feeling today. We're loading into Clarion Test Chamber. We are gonna run some experiments, and we are going to test who is the best. Not in the West, although the GOATs are the Westies. We are going to test who is the best today in this losers bracket. Who are they gonna ban? That Octavia. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, yeah. Octavia is just a little too good on some of the variants here, and if they allow it through, they're basically forced to go full KO, so that's not the game they want to play here. But with the Zentaro ban, as usual, the Bozos have consistently put that. It's another probably Era mirror matchup, the Dubu. It's probably going to be standard again. It's probably going to be Era X again.
Wait a minute. Is this Hover for real, for real? It is! Killiest pulling out the third goalie of the set, and it is the Rasmus. As we do see the X-Era mirror match, that is interesting. I believe we saw that on Clarion earlier today, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly?
I think there was one game that somebody else decided to use it. Was it... Oh, what team's Obscure Breads on?
Dubu.
I think it was Sundu. I think it was the Sundubu Strikers, where Obscure Breads ended up using that in Clarion Test Chamber. And we're going to have to see if the strategy still holds true, because I believe that they won that game. And they're going to try and repeat that here, as Fudgy Waffles is going to go into the smoke screen. We could talk all day about the differences in these changes in the map that happen with the smoke screen and the barrier shapes and everything. There's so much to talk about there.
Yeah, but I hate to alert you. Sundubu Strikers lost to Quest Esports then, I believe.
Oh.
So, on stream, this Rasmus goalie, not the greatest win rate today, but being murdered here, and it's a specialized Manu start. So both of these X's come right out of the gate with a lot more power.
Yeah, that X Maximus is gonna go pretty hefty. Not hefty, as in the the trash bag motto. Not like that. We're not talking about trash bag.
But Dropletto on the top side, once again looking for the core. Killius does have that flip as insurance. So does Forgot. Both these goalies playing very safe, sending it into the side streets, as the beta players would call it, as I have to retreat away from the magical maelstrom of Fudgy Waffles, who is currently being beat up by Dropletto, and that Tofu Fortress is very good. The beam is even better for the Bozo bunch. They're starting off on the right foot.
They're starting off on the right foot. This is very much a nice change up for the Bozo bunch to start early, start getting things rolling. Now we do see the Era Orb, and we do have some stats. Thank you, Lyrica. That gives 500 stagger, 50 power, 20% speed, and 125% size for 8 seconds, and resets some of your cooldowns. That is a very hefty buff, as we see that Dropletto tries to take the most advantage of. And they're going to get a goal barrier for it as the pressure starts mounting. Though I gets taken off the map, this is still a very much doable situation for Dropletto.
Yeah, the 2 barriers to 0 lead. The flip will be stuffed out by the Maelstrom, but they're battling over control of the central orb on this Maelstrom map as Dropletto gets it yet again, but the barrier will be taken, not both. However, as the great dribble comes out, slightly misses the bull rush, but doesn't matter. Goes in for the strike, still cleared away by Fudgy Waffles and Killius. These two are continuing to make the defense happen, but the bell ringer slightly mispositioned for Apalmi. Does not get the follow-up they want, and I will just sneak it in the top side, the dribbles with the Maelstrom. Looks like a bit of a genius with those Era Tornadoes, I gotta say.
Yeah, like, I don't know what kind of difference that they've been putting into these tornadoes in the past few times that they've used them, but my goodness, they're just starting to clear every single pathway at every opportunity. It's honestly impressive, is what it is, because no one has control over these tornadoes quite like that. It's so hard to aim them. It's so hard to predict them because that charge lasts for like, what is it, 10 seconds maybe? Oh, speaking of 10 seconds, felt like that set was over in 10 seconds. That's a 3-0 for the Bozo Bunch.
The Bozo Bunch, one of two teams that wants to play the loser semis today and is on the path to it. As the stacks on stacks is available, the Egoist, so many power picks are available. The Knife's Edge, the Hot Shot, the Bulk Up, and the Egoist, of course, will be taken here. But I'm wondering where the Hot Shot will fall, if at all, because on a map like this, it has consistently been very, very interesting in terms of reversing pressure out of nowhere. And with that picked up by the Dubu, Forgot now has a much better capability to sneak it past the two forwards of the Goats.
Some other interesting pickups, Dropletto going for the Spark, Apalmi going for the Bulk Up, so he's going to be hitting a heck of a lot harder, even more so than already was, try and KO this Era and this Dubu here with this X Maximus. I don't know if I could say that anybody won that draft necessarily. Kilius getting stacks is going to be really, really nice and making sure that he can defend that entire goal consistently. But if he just scoops the core right behind his own goal gates like that, not really a whole lot you can do.
Unfortunate, the worst possible time for the hook to come in. Did not have the strike ready, it seems, as Fudgy Waffles tries a tornado of their own. But I just has been so much more effective with the tornado. Say what you will about the core control that's up in the air, but the tornadoes have been firmly incredible for I. Look at that, they're pressing forward so much. Forgot presses forward a little too hard, loses one barrier in the process, but still, that's just one barrier, and especially on a map like this, you'd much rather just defend one as Koei is forced to make a save. Forgot is down. Forget what I said about the nados. That one from Fudgy Waffles made the difference there as the dribbling will start the shot to the top side. I cannot reach it. What a shot off the bumper.
The speed boost not coming online soon enough. Barely not lasting, and that strike did not reach. That's the first goal for the Goats here in Clarion Test Chamber. They're just gonna have to try and make sure that they can keep this momentum up, keep hitting the players of the Bozo Bunch into these poison pits. And it seems like they have a good thing going here, but if Fudgy is just gonna keep getting hit around like this, like I has just been doing such good work at all of a sudden like battling for this midfield control.
Yeah, and as Fudgy and Dropletto come back, they have to be very careful to not get stuck in these narrows here. Dropletto now being taken low, does not want to step in there. I taken low as well. And it just seems like Goats just have much more familiarity with this variant of the map. Dropletto getting stuck in it again, almost being shoved into it for an extended period of time. And there it is, Dropletto is stuck. We'll have to elusive any attempts to knock him back in. Oh, the pendulum swing misses from Kilius though. Wait a second, Dropletto gets free, and a bit of a missed opportunity for the Goats.
Bit of a missed opportunity. Fudgy does not go down. The strike did not land in time to continue with the X Maximus or Dropletto, and Fudgy's not going to get KO'd. But the Goats have an open net here and a power play, so any situation could be pretty good for them. As this core is starting to go a little bit fast here, it is overtime. But I and Forgot holding strong. Going to be able to slam that one down. Summer Assault it. Bull Rush does not catch the core, and Fudgy gets struck away from. Dropletto's maintaining control here. Forgot is also just holding things down. This team is all of a sudden dealing with all of the tools and all of the pressure from the Goats with ease.
Oh, but they don't get the barrier there. They would have really liked to get it there. Now Fudgy Waffles forcing Forgot into a hard situation, but the goalie will hold on strong. I staying alive, not being hooked, but sent into the pit. Stuck there for a moment, KO'd by the beam of Fudgy Waffles. And now as the Maelstrom approaches, the flip is forced out. The strike war won by Apalmi, a little too obvious on the side of Forgot. And despite the strong performance by the Bozos, they are not looking too hot on the rotations that have come up this time.
Apalmi also did a crazy situation earlier to get that last goal barrier for the Bozos, where Forgot Apalmi flipped, forgot, sent out the assault, sent out the log, and then Apalmi just struck it. And a double from Fudgy means that this could be the set for Goats, as long as they're able to work around the Celestial Expansion, the orb of Atlas. They're gonna try and hit it back that way. Ai's gonna send it into the creation, and Dropletto is KO'd right now. Apalmi decides to burn the energy burst, and it's not a guaranteed situation for the Goats anymore. All of a sudden, Apalmi's a little bit worse for weather. Ai is too, and just barely lives, getting yoinked all the way to the other side of the map, and is still just hanging on for dear life. Is gonna be finally back in the fray, and Saya, what is this era doing?
Yeah, I survives, but for how much longer? Dropletto's gonna have to be a hero here, but just goes to Achilles down to Fudgy Waffles. There's not much Aduba can do, but play proactively for God does. Almost gets a barrier off of that play. Ai is now back. Apalmi now trying to send it to the bottom side, but Dropletto has returned, and the strike is not there for the X of the Ghost. The Tofu Fortress will hold strong, but Fudgy Waffles finds the angle. Dropletto lost on the bottom side. It's all evened up. The Goats still in this, better than ever.
That bounce just snuck right through the fortress, right through the expanse, and it's going to lead to Fudgy Waffles taking Cast to Last, not Fight or Flight, and there's going to be boot buffing and debuffing for extra long.
It's a bit of a choice here, right? But Fight or Flight does drop to Ai, and I think both eras got what they personally preferred here. Because I've seen times that... I've seen times very often that Ai has gone to Quick Strike, sort of Fight or Flight, over the Castellast, even when they were the ones having the choice. But I think Dropletto quietly picking up 2 sparks. One of them is Resilience, and this scaling could be really, really good for the Bozo Bunch.
Ooh, I ended up actually getting that orb. Going to be powered up here. Alongside that Fight or Flight means that, like, that era can just go absolutely nuclear if given the opportunity with that orb. It is Arrow's orb after all. I really like the spark pickup, right? Like, Dropletto, I don't want to say saw the future, but definitely saw a situation where, like, all right, I'm just going to have to scale. I have enough damage here already, and I have the healing to get through this. If I could just build up these sparks and force really bad drafts in the later rounds, we are going to start getting these, and just, I just trusted my teammates.
Yeah, picking up a spark when you are the team that won the first round and there's only 1 spark available on the first rotation is just so powerful. You buy yourself a ton of time, even if you lose later sets, to get back into the game, to force your opponents to take themselves out of the game sometimes. But this has been a bit of a struggle for the Bozos. They have not looked the greatest on this project of Clarion. So we'll see how they do. Achilles almost gets an own barrier, but the angle is so precise, does not own barrier at all. And now Dropletto looking, but Ai is the one who's staggered, and without Ai, this team is so lacking in the core control necessary.
It's very lacking. This X does have a little bit of speed, but is it really enough to try and contend with everyone? Apparently it is, because Fudgy got sent all the way through. Forgot is flying on this Dubu, that's for sure. Easily just working their way all the way up, helping Dropletto can maintain the midfield presence, and finally everyone's back online. But that's a goal barrier for the bunch. And if there are bozos in chat, I want you to be heard. I want you to start rooting and cheering and hollering, because these bozos need your energy.
Forgot absolutely need your energy. Taken out by the bell ringer of Apalmi. The flip available. The tornado will block the shot, but the second shot will hit the bottom corner. And the Goats, once again, looking strong, especially on a variant like this, where they can just control, they can just get the KOs. Their KO coordination has been overwhelming, but the Bozos, this time, on a variant that they have been very strong on, and Dropletto starting strong with the X Maximus.
Oh, beautiful play. The punch into the energy burst, securing that one, forcing out Palmy to flip because of the magical maelstrom. And that's going to be 2 goal barriers down. Finally, Fudgy's back online, and a sharking Ai could potentially get this goal. Not able to manage it this time. Has this egoist boost, but no, tries to go for a solo play, does not end up landing it. Finally, Dropletto's back online. There's so much to talk about here, but I think the main thing I want to discuss is that I really needs to start getting these goals and securing them with Dropletto.
Yeah, Dropletto taking a bit of damage, but still staying alive. Now the health bar is not as high as the Spark of Strength. Exit has to be a little bit more careful in the specialized world. So does Fudgy Waffles, though. That specialized training X Maximus will take him to his grave early as the NATO comes in from but steps again into the side street, and as beta players know, that is the death zone, no matter what version of the game you're playing. And Apalmi now with Fudgy Waffles walking up with the dribbles, trying to get it through before I can respawn, but I is back. The core goes around the world. Fudgy is shrunk, and if they can get it past, if I can get in position with a good NATO, this can mean everything. How did they do it?
Literally how. I have no clue how you see the future, but if I really is your name, then that means that you have the eye to the future, the third eye, as they score that point. In conjunction with Dropletto, a beautiful tag team, and they're at set point. Even though Apalmi picked up this 1-2 punch, it seems like the KOs are still just going back and forth. It seems like these players are going back and forth. Talk about evenly matched. That is what this set has been.
And now with the meter on the side of the Bozos, they take one barrier, but lose their life in return. Losing the meter in the process, though, and suddenly it's a massive turnaround in the favor of the Goats. Despite everything, now the Goats push forward. Forgot takes so much damage near the edge. If Apalmi has cooldowns, this could be very, very dangerous for this Dubu, but for now, he will be safe as Dropletto pushes up. The bewitching beams have been so good from Fudgy Waffles, but look at that, the Tofu Fortress walling up the entire side. Covering the top side as well with that additional speed from Fight or Flight, but still it is Kilius pushing forward, sending it back to who has dropped back to regen, and once again the NATO goes out, forcing out an elusive, but again, it's just a back and forth. They cannot get it through these goalies.
This is such a fun match when you see that these teams are trying to find any stretch of an advantage over one another, any kind of situation where they might be able to eke out a barrier, might be able to eke out a strike war, anything to try and just land these goal barriers. As finally overtime starts coming through, finally we see the cooldowns back online as we're going to start fighting once again. The Tofu Fortress lands. That's going to be the orbs as sending out the expanse, and these players are in perfect position for the Bozo Bunch to get this goal after the goal barrier is down. The log sends it flying. Dropletto is able to get this one dribbled. Barely getting past the Death's Touch is Kilius, and able to send it forward into the goal barrier to get from Apalmi, but it's not able to land. These two are on the top side trying to race down to the bottom, not able to get there in time. Apalmi's here fighting for Forgot, but not able to get through that energy burst is Apalmi. Finally dribbling, Forgot has no speed. Summer Assault barely lands on the bottom corner as the Maelstrom comes through, and the flip from Dropletto as Kilius isn't able to use his own, and that's one more set for the Bozo Bunch, and one set away from continuing their run through the losers bracket of this invitational tournament from AfreecaTV.
What a clutch roll by Forgot. Saves possibly the entire game, puts them into advantage here. Surely you go tempo swing here. Yes, okay. There it is, and suddenly Dropletto has powered up incredibly hard. The extra special is here for the utility from Kilius, but you know I was talking about the hotshot, right? The hotshot utility in that last set sent it forward the pressure. It's just so good, and with the missile prop on board as well, this Dubu will have so much, I guess, more clutch potential.
A lot more clutch potential, as you saw that Forgot was so incredibly clutch in all of the situations. There were so many times that the players of Goats were like on breakaways. Like there was a time where Fudgy and Forgot faced off, and it seemed like Fudgy was going to get that barrier almost guaranteed, but Forgot was able to hold on. Speaking of holding on, we need to hold on here because I is super duper low. But a double from Dropletto!
Across the entire map, Dropletto finds the double. Forgot has to be very careful though. This chrono boost is scary. Dropletto though pushing it up. In position, no longer staggered, has an opportunity to Dropletto to dribble up around the pendulum swing, tries to win the strike war, but still it is Kilius who is the victor in that moment. Now against Apalmi wins that time, and again so many times the NATO to the top corner, and the members of the Bozo Bunch being so aware, so practiced of the timing at which to strike it right afterward.
That was chaos incarnate. That was absolutely immaculate play from the members of the Bozo Bunch, but it doesn't matter if your play is immaculate if you just end up getting KO'd Although I guess you wouldn't call that immaculate, would you? I is going to have to try and do so much work right now, right? That I really believe that I is this difference maker right now, who has been putting on so much work. Dropletto is just kind of tanking and punching and brawling, but really, it's going to come down to whether or not this midfielder... Wait a minute, the Summer Assault gets a KO? Is that really what happened?
Yes, Palmy has been greeting flips all game. Amazing save by Kilius on the goal line, but you have to wonder how long can they hold because I has so much speed to drop back, looking like an Octavia with how much speed they get off each strike. But Palmy has been greeting their flips all game. They're an inch away from the barrier. They don't flip. They think they can get it. He is so greedy, and finally gets punished.
Definitely getting punished. Members of the Boza Bunch 1 point away from continuing their run and getting another insane upset in an already insane tournament, and the goal barriers are down, Saya.
Goal barriers are down. Remember, Forgot has Hotshot, can send it across the map in an instant, and the strike wars are won by the Bozo Bunch. Dropletto in position. Forgot sending it to the empty bottom side as Fudgy Waffles tries to catch up. It gets sent up to Palmy, and the tornado will be difficult, but the KO on the Fudgy Waffles, the immediate flip. The Bozo Bunch defy expectations. They are top 4 today.
Bozo Bunch, you can call them what you want. You can make fun of them, their name, whatever. They have proven without a shadow of a doubt that these rising stars have already ascended. They are very much ready to continue fighting at the top level of North American Omega Strikers. They are here to stay.
And we are also here to stay. Not us two, but the stream at the very least, because both these teams have opted into playing today, despite the late hours. Both the teams remaining, the Eris Kitten Club and the Bozo Bunch, 2 teams with a lot of fresh faces. These are not the beta players that we know. These are not the players that have been around the competitive scene, around all that. Sure, Soren, and then that's it.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too, right? Because Clarion is a map that is based off of the beta maps, right? Like all of these structures are ones that the GOATs should have much more familiarity working around. But the players on the Boza Bunch have been hard at work. They're very much aware of the win conditions, of exactly what they need to do on these crazy changing scenarios on this new map, and all of the crazy, you could call it Mario Party effects that are coming through. This is what the difference is, that they understand exactly what these new experiments really throw them their way, and they handled it with so much grace and so much awareness, and they really came out on top.
I invited you to the lobby. Oops. That's my mistake. I wondered.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but that will be it for us. Another banger series in the books for this Invitational. It's ridiculous how many game 3s, how many set 5s, how many set 5.5s we are getting. But yeah, some other casters are up next. I know their names, but
Haybot and Spooked Altar, I believe, are going to be showing up after us to finish out the night. But that is going to do it for us.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the AfreecaTV Omega Strikers Invitational. We have got one final match for you yet tonight. It's K-Bot and Spooked Alter back on the cast for this one. And Spooked, these are two teams that have been playing exceptionally well so far today, looking to claim podium spots in this weekend's tournament.
Yeah, I mean, a team I didn't expect to make it this far, or I guess the name just might have thrown off my. I don't know, how I thought about them going into it, but Era's Kitten Club definitely making waves here, and so we're seeing them against Bozo Bunch, who just got a victory over Goats. So definitely gonna be a strong match to see here.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, both these teams have been coming in with a lot to prove. Obviously, Bozo Bunch didn't get the result that they wanted to the North American Strikers Academy, but now they have basically beaten all other remaining North American Strikers Academy teams up to this point in order to get to here. The only set of players that stand in their way, of course, the players of Soren, Anaxidi, and Katsuna all were playing on NASA rosters in the last season, but they're coming together, forming a different team for the upcoming season and for the upcoming qualifier cycle and the like. So interesting to see them come together. You see the map pick ban take place on your screen. It means that up first, we're going to Atlas's lab here across the board. It sounded like, though, Spooked, that Era's Kitten Club really wanted to play on Inkies, and Bozo Bunch didn't quite allow that to happen. And so we start here on Atlas's lab.
Yeah, I mean, Inkies is a map that is notoriously known for not being very particularly well taken. But we are going to see an X Zentaro ban, so I'm assuming there's probably some damage awakening here, as we see a Kazan and Luna hovered, and a Amy goalie for that a little bit of extra oomph, the extra damage.
We'll see whether or not Soren actually locks in this. I mean, I don't feel like I don't normally see Soren play an IME, but Adita gets locked in here, so has to be a high damage training up first. What else is up, though, is Eyes Octavia was left online. We've seen them put on performance after performance on this striker. And here we go. Heading right into it for game one. It is going to be heavy impact specialized training start with 5 specialized trainings and only Forgot picking up the heavy impact on the dude.
Yeah, I mean, specialized training is really good on that Octavia too, because it just means that you can't really evade if they could get you in that corner, and especially if you just core flip so you don't even have evade to begin with. It's just such a good option that you have to watch out for, that's not usually prepared for, but it seems that they've taken so much damage and they're actually going to find themselves a KO there, but that KO did lead to a barrier being taken now. Open net on the side of Soren here, but they're trying to get this last barrier evened out a little bit, but they're going to have a hard time doing that, and Katsuna in the process is going to get KO'd, but they are able to manage to find it, and now it's open net on both sides.
Here comes I right back up to the top side and finds the angle to slip it between the corner and the firewall sentry. You would have thought that that special would have been able to clear the core, but it didn't in that case, and that'll be the first goal on the board for this Bozo bunch. But one of the things we'll have to watch out for in this set, obviously with the specialized training and the Kazan on the table alongside Kitsuna's Luna, a lot of damage on this roster as you see the Crater come through to take out this Octavia. Really, it's going to be about whether or not power plays can be capitalized upon, whether or not they can actually convert on the opportunities that they have. These advantages for the side of the Ares Kitten Club. Because if they aren't able to convert on these a lot of the time, they have another 12 seconds to do that here. They really need to start finding a way to do that and try to get it around Forgot. Indeed, they will there to find the first barrier. Here's Katsuna looking for the shot up, but drop Leto. Very nice death touch to pull that one back in, and actually will hit the barrier on the other side. Here comes I in the flow state. There's the beat drop as well. Try to bully away and buy some space, but there is that umbrella coming in from NXCD on this Kazan, jumping in, now trying to hook in the core, but just out of range there, and there is the full combo unleashed to take out I, and now, oh no, the core gets stuck behind the Tofu Fortress, and it finds the red net. All tied here in game one.
Yeah, sometimes that Tofu Fortress, I mean, it's such an impenetrable when it is a wall, and it seems right there it was just on, the ball was on the wrong side that they wanted it on, and now we're going to see that they're able to find another Octavia kill really early on this ledge with this Kazan. NXCD is in their element here, able to play out their, I mean, the level so far is not too far of a difference, but they are slowly getting there with all these KOs and damage, but it does seem NXCD, I'm having a hard time saying that, is able to find himself a lot of damage as well, but look at all the damage that's on Forgot and Dropletto now.
But here's that flow state. Out of I once more, Dropletto forced to burn the energy burst to try to dodge it, now gets KO'd by Soren's energy burst there. Another power play opportunity, but this time it's not the Octavia that's down, and although the flow state is online, so won't have that at their disposal now. My goodness. Finds the top spin there. KOs the Summer Assaulting Dubu away, and the power play will extend, but again, so far, the Bozo Bunch is doing a surprisingly good job of holding these barriers. Finally, that barrier will fall. And now the Crater will hit it right back. Dropletto, a little bit of room to work. Now gets sent away, and looks like Forgot was too busy pulling NXCD away, trying to prevent this Kazan from being that much of a nuisance. And instead, lets the core go by.
I need to watch that one back because I couldn't even tell what the umbrella was doing there. It looked like it was in 2 spots at once, but nevertheless, they move on to this point with a goal set in mind from Soren. The team goalie telling them what they need to do, and how they're going to do it is get so much damage on them, they just have nowhere to run. That KO them call out. Definitely really strong to see here as Dropletto is suffering from that call out.
Low on stagger, just trying to buy some space for themselves up there on the top side. Black Hole going to get despawned, and now Forgot going to lose that barrier on the top side. Open goal gates once more for the Ares Kitten Club. NXED in the corner, trying to find something, but doesn't have any dash abilities to get in now. There's the top spin. You see I get knocked around quite a bit there as well, and now the KO comes through, and everyone gets taken off of the map thanks to the black hole. 1v1, Soren looks to go in, but Forgot will hold. And this core will die out for a moment. Calm before the storm after that black hole explosion. Here we go. Overtime now, and immediately the core starts going all over the place. There's the pendulum swing. Droplet will find the barrier up in the corner. NXCD tries to interrupt things and will get it past I. Falls down to Kitsuna there on the bottom side. Off the black hole, Droplet looks for the pendulum swing. Now the primary is used. Everything is being committed right now to hold the line for the Ares Kitten Club. And now they'll find the KO onto I once more. Slamming down is NXCD, but just in front of the core. Can't find it. Now drop Leto. Beautiful dribble. Keeps it away from Kitsuna and sends it back to send us to the first goal 5 of this series.
What a intense point. I was watching that black hole ready for it to burst, and it took victims with it, as we saw just a double death on both sides. Definitely strong to see here now, as both members of Claire and Corp are fighting getting out, but one of them is coming out on top, as Drop Leto just doesn't have the HP to compete anymore in that fight, that brawl off now as they're running away, but they just want the KO, and Soren's laughing at his ability to stay alive here, but I think it's rather impeccable, as you know, NXED now is having the time of his life trying to get this barrier. They almost have Core Flip. Soren has his. Kitsuna's super close to his. NXED has his. They could probably make a play here. They use the Core Flip for the KO. They're trying to get the barrier here. Another KO from the black hole, trying to get this last one, but NXED is pushed away by Dubu.
Here's the Core Flip. Kitsuna will send it home in the double power play opportunity. Spooked, I am fearing what I'm going to see on the scoreboard for this one. Because it looks like they're getting like 3 KOs a point at least. And now I have to imagine with even more Awakenings coming online, with more power, they'll be able to do just that. And you see Kitsuna getting the first pick, picks up the Twin Drive, leaving the Chrono Boost online for I, which will be an important note. But again, it's not going to matter whether or not you're in the flow state if you're taken off the map every time you're not in the flow state.
Yeah, I mean, Octavia getting this, or best in slot, I should say, bestie in slot, is usually something to really look out for. But, I mean, in a damage comp, you know that they need to go to the core. So you just keep the core near the, the death pit, and what are you going to do?
And look at this as well. Later on that carousel, NXCD takes the prize fighter for additional power and additional snowballing potential. But it's Bozo Punch who appear to be striking first. Tofu Fortress doesn't hold the line in the midfield, and Forgot to flash the iconic Sad Boys emote, but now it'll go into the net all the same. Well done there. The damage didn't come online that time, and they couldn't quite find the KOs to relieve the pressure that was getting built up over time.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot you got to do here, but it seems they're now opening the black hole to open space up early. I is just taking so much damage. They just have 2 people going after them while Soren is holding it down here, but it does seem that I was able to manage to survive, but not for long, as Soren comes in with a cyber swipe to take them out now with NXED with the core flip, and the turret comes out. So many play can happen here, the power play, but the core flip is stopped by Drop Leto, able to expertly hold the line here with his life. But it doesn't seem that's enough, as they're able to find him on the edge of the map. They found their mark, and now with the core flip coming through, trying to get a pass to NXED, but I is able to just cover everywhere with that flow state, but now it's gone because he couldn't get the core, and now NXED is trying to make a play onto this, but they can't quite find the kill or the goal.
There it is. Top spin comes through. Death Touch tries to pull it back for Drop Leto, but the black hole will activate too, and now Drop Leto all of a sudden is back down to about a third of their stagger bar. The pop-up comes through. Actually, it's Kitsuna credited with that KO. NXDD looking to poke it through. Now with the help of the Firewall Sentry. Can't do it there. Forgot will hold this time. We're in overtime now. NXDD right back there. Crater comes out, sends the core around. I is low once again. Has to try to retreat for these orbs, and now gets KO'd thanks to Soren's cyber swipe. It's just a bloodbath here. And it's all going to the favor, seemingly, in the KO game of Ares Kitten Club. This is not generally what you'd think of for an Era playstyle, but it's working out for them right now. Kitsuna right back down here. bottom side. Slips it past the rollout log. CD tries to keep it in the corner. Firewall Sentry out once more, and there it is. Katsuna will bully them into that very corner and not let anyone get down to the bottom side. Once again, we're equal here in the set score.
Yeah, I mean, Era's Kitten Club definitely showing that they got that buffs from Era to have this extra strength, and they're just not letting Octavia have the speed. And it's just, what can you do when you're just running away from all this damage because you try to get the core, and look what's happening to I when he's trying to play the game. He gets put to half health with an orb.
Building up some of the speed here on this flow state. Has to be careful. Does dodge. The boost coming in from Katsuna. Now the beat drop comes through. Stuffs the core flip in from Soren. Now an opportunity for the score. Dropletto almost comes up with it on the pendulum swing. Now the whiplash forward. Can't win the strike war versus Soren. And now Soren buys some space on the bottom side. NXCD, though, finds the KO and goes on a 4 KO streak. Katsuna will interrupt the death touch pullback. And now we'll send it forward. NXCD rollout log will prevent that gold barrier from getting taken right there. So the transition was made very quickly to go back to the defensive side once the KO came through, and once Era's Kitten Club had possession of the core, but now it's right back to the Bozo Bunch. They're looking for the open net, can't find it there. I will run out of the flow state rather quickly. And so we're in overtime. Will they be able to capitalize? Cyber swipe short from Soren. Now dribbled in the corner. Katsuna is there at the midfield. Pick it back up. Death touch. Beautifully done from Dropletto to find that angle to send it back.
What an insane death touch. They were just so focused on that ball in that corner. Dropletto saw the opportunity and he struck with that really living to its name's death touch, as it was able to end that goal, end that round for the side here of the Bozo Bunch. Now as they're fighting for their lives once again in this corner, and it seems that they've stopped the ball, but how good will that last if your team is just dying while that's happening? Or I guess, well, nothing's happening now as we're trying to get the barriers here, but we're not quite able to find them. It seems that they're trying to get that core flip across, so it's not going to work. But the counter core flip from Forgot is going to get a barrier. Katsuna's going to find theirs of their own, trying to win this strike war here, but not quite able to find it. But they are able to get a KO onto I's Octavia.
So two things I want to mention. Thank goodness, first of all, of course, with Bozo Bunch, that the death touch can at least end the round, preventing the end to their own lives even more, because there's just continuous damage. Here comes the boost again. Katsuna finds yet another one onto Dropletto. NXCD with the top spin will get Forgot down to virtually 0. Now that's going to start coming back online, looking to continue bullying the goalie away. That's the Oki playstyle right there. Stand right in front of the goalie and unload and unleash all of those cooldowns on top. Now opportunity sends it into the corner. Can't find it there. Very nice summer assault, looking to try to keep possession here for the Bozo Bunch. And now Crater comes out right back up to the other side. Katsuna and Soren both standing on top of each other right now. Might be vulnerable in the goal box, but no. It's sent around the world and right back up to that top corner. Low on stagger once more, but has built up quite a decent bit of speed on this flow state. Katsuna, though, comes in with the boost, but it doesn't matter because there's the death touch again, ending the round and ending the set to the favor of the Bozo Bunch.
Man, the fact that the Bozo Bunch is able to just die repeatedly over and over and over again, but come back with a little bit more cooldowns and a little bit more health each time and able to get those barriers and then get that goal. The perseverance that is needed to watch as your allies just drop from left to right all the time and able to come back and still get that set. Incredible.
So someone, of course, had to pick up the Castellas here on this carousel. You cannot let it get down to the Octavia that already has a Chrono Boost. And it is going to end up being Katsuna that picks it up above everyone else. There wasn't really a lot of single damage awakenings there on that carousel, so probably makes the most sense there for Katsuna to take it. Also of note, Soren picks up the Stagger Swagger, preventing healing and regeneration on the enemy team. That might have been another amount of saving grace that Bozo Bunch could have relied on, but instead it gets stolen away from them right out from underneath.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a really good pick here, and so we're gonna have to see what they're gonna do with that, with both of their, their win conditions. Octavia getting Castellas to run away longer and better, or getting that Stagger Swagger onto anybody, really, to have one person that at least is not able to die from Stagger was taken away. But it doesn't matter because they're able to just convert, even if it's just one of them with that Death Touch, able to make that self-pass to himself, and then just able to make that play happen to counter power play situations that Dropletto seems to find himself in very often, but he seems to find himself favorably outcome.
Feels like Dropletto is hopefully looking for the extra special in a set to come or something of the sort to make those kinds of plays more often. The other thing here I want to comment on is Soren right now, maybe not in the last point, and well, maybe not there either, but when there's open space to work with, it feels like Soren's doing a decent job of trying to make sure that core control and possession is maintained for Era's Kitten Club, especially on this striker that has a little bit of tech to her, right? That cyber swipe, you have the opportunity to strike it a different way coming out of that cyber swipe immediately. And sometimes that can come into play. Then you eject button back and you basically get that pass to yourself as well. Looking for a little more, but right now, the holding power just isn't there for Soren and or the Era's Kitten Club as I continues to rack up speed in the flow state. Has a little bit of extra. Oh no, nearly gets trapped there in the Tofu Fortress for a moment in those jack-o'-lanterns, but now another KO comes through. This time it's to the favor of the Bozo Bunch, and oh no, double barrier the other way. Here comes the core flip. It's denied by the Octavia primary who keeps it forward. It's a 3-0 set for the Bozo Bunch. And suddenly they're looking to take this game. They just got one more set to go.
Wow, what an incredible set. If I saw these awakenings on these people and you told me what way do you think this game is going, I would not assume it would be going in the favor of the Bozo Bunch, but they're making it happen. They are showing that they got the skills needed to survive in this damage heavy world. I mean, right here as we're seeing here though, they are able to get they're denying Deadeye on Octavia. That threw me through a loop because I saw Demolitionist. I assumed it was going to be taken, but it was not, and now Soren has access to it.
Look, they denied Deadeye, they denied Boca, too, right? That was taken away by Dropletto. NXCD is going to pick up the Knife's Edge nonetheless for a little bit of extra power, but aside from that, you really don't see a lot of extra power. The only thing, Soren picking up this Demolitionist, maybe in theory that can give you extra cooldowns every once in a while, but certainly not in the goalie. And now, my goodness, Dropletto's Pendulum Swing hits hard with that bulk up. Sends Soren off the map. It's at least 4 straight goals now. Actually, probably closer to 5 straight goals for the Bozo Bunch. And they are continuing to keep up this roll, denying the damage comp that this was, and now able to build up the energy, able to build up the speed to dodge everything.
Yeah, I mean, it seems here that they figured out how to stay alive, and without getting KOs, KO characters don't have too much available to them as much as these other characters like Octavia and Rasmus here. So they have a lot more, you know, just mobility and versatility in this open field here where they're not dying, but they're managing to barely hang on at the, you know, the skin of their teeth here. And it's just so hard to stay alive when they're both staggered or both low, but Octavia did find enough time to heal up. The corpse is going to come out from Katsuno, but they're able to save that barrier, and Dropletto managing to stay alive here, but not for too long as NXCD is able to find that KO, and it seems now they have a power play in their hands, and Dropletto's not there to counter it.
Finally another power play, but here's the Tofu Fortress out. I did a fantastic job of interrupting any passing play, and suddenly 12 seconds gone in the blink of an eye. Even when they had the opportunity for that power play, they're not able to capitalize. There's the Maddening Descent coming through, and now Core goes around the world once more. Forgot has the core flip. Dropletto looking to find the dribble, and will find it down to the bottom corner. Fantastically played there off both corners in order to set it into the goal, and suddenly it's game point for the Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, game point. I was not ready for this, but we are here, and now we're going to be seeing how this is going to go. Katsuno trying to make a play, but almost getting pulled into the black hole there, but it does seem that Soren's going to accidentally have both barriers drop, and it's in the net. What is going to happen here? It's so hard to tell, but it seems that they're trying to make this final push here. Keeping it to Dropletto, but they're able to push it out now, trying to make a counterplay, but they're able to save both barriers, it seems. The turn's going to come out, trying to make a play with this Firewall Sentry, but Dropletto is not letting that happen. Now it's in the corner with the ball, right where he usually likes to have that, but it's taken away so quickly this time around. It seems that Era's Kitten Club is definitely trying to keep them away here. They know where they want to position, they know how they want to, and that is just not going to be able to happen for them.
Barrier taken on the other side of the pitch, but I finds a KO with a beat drop. Now Kitsuna low on stagger as well. Soren has to try to go in for this one to try to interrupt I from building up even more speed, and now Kitsuna runs through the entire field on the boost. Can't find it there. Passing play opportunity. Dropletto commits the death touch already. Won't have that up. And now Kitsuna will find the angle around Forgot in order to put it back. Trying to stay alive here, stay alive in this game. is Ares Kitten Club, especially with the fantastic start they had.
Yeah, I know. This is honestly what an insane thing we're seeing here. What a insane game. I mean, as we're going to see, though, that barrier is going to manage to stay alive, but not for long, and there's going to be a KO onto I in this corner here now, as Ares Kitten Club is pushing towards this goal, trying to get it in. That Glitch Pop's going to keep it forward, and now NXED has it. The pass to Katsuna, and then the boost to hit it in. Now we are on set point / match point here, as they are trying to attempt this comeback, as they have figured out their way around. Ares Kitten Club now knows the core control that they need, so that even if they don't get those KOs, they can still make something happen now. Both teams have adjusted to each other. We're going to see who can fix that what first, and we're going to see the Corp is going to come out and get 2 barriers.
Right around Forgot's rollout log again. Now it's I's turn on the flow state. Picks up 1 barrier. Dropletto's there. Strike 4-1 by Soren. Tries to get it away, but I's still there again on the flow state. Now it'll run out though. Dropletto with a little bit of space to work with. The Whiplash speed will go and run out. But there's the goal nonetheless, thanks to a KO coming through from the bulk up on the pendulum swing, baby. Never doubt the Rasmus's KOing power. That's obviously a stretch, but look, the denial pick, you make it useful and you make it work for you. Spooks, the wildest thing about that game is that it feels like normally it's the damage composition that's the one that's scaling, but it didn't feel like that at all in that game.
It really didn't. I mean, Bozo Bunch at the start was struggling and the damage comp was flourishing as if they had like 3 or 4 damage awakenings each on all their strikers, but in fact, it just snowballed the opposite direction, where instead the core control comp was able to just slowly get what they need to stay alive and make these goals happen. I mean, Dropletto with an amazing performance here, as we see the 10 goals here, but I having so many redirects and just so much goal participation with that 7 assists, 1 goal themselves, and then look at all that. Just like, it's like, how did that happen?
On the other side of the pitch, you look at that, you go, there were 24 KOs. That's 2 KOs per point against the Bozo Bunch. And yet this team was still able to find a way to come out on top of it. But again, I go back to the Awakenings carousel. There was only 1 player that was able to pick up any level of damage awakenings for Ares Kitten Club, and it was NXZD on the Kazan, right? It was the 1-2 punch and the knife's edge that came through, but nothing else we were really able to see there. There was sure Twin Drive from Katsuna theoretically would help, but then had to deny the cast to last. Took the missile propulsion instead. Soren takes quick strikes, stagger swagger denial, and then the demolitionist denial as well. There wasn't enough damage scaling coming online because of the way those awakening carousels played out. And now we head into game 2, Night Market. A little bit of a different strategy maybe, and they've elected to change up the ban. Get that Octavia out of here.
Yeah, Octavia ban, smile. Definitely very prominent nowadays. And so we're going to go into here. We see 2 eras and a X. I'm assuming it might have been a Castellast, or no, it was an Egoist, or everybody's taking it except Katsuna, who's going to opt for taking aerials instead. Definitely a strong start. I mean, there's just so much speed and power that Egoist gives, and it's not the same as a fire-up start when that used to be a thing, but it is still something really strong and really scary to look out for if you don't know how to take advantage of those port flips. I mean, right here, oh, it seems we have a DC actually, or something happening. I don't know, but they were holding that core there, and I thought that might have been a DC because everyone was just letting them dribble, but I guess they're just letting them dribble and build up energy for fun.
I mean, hey, you take what you can get sometimes. Sometimes it's a little funny exchange of emotes and a laugh as you keep dribbling. Now, goal gate's open. NXCD's there on the Juliet. The Fiery Flurry will secure the goal. That was an incredibly fast level 2 as well, by the way. That was 30 seconds in. You've got the level 2. Immediately presses the Fiery Flurry while the goal gates are open. Are able to put it right back. And the other thing you're talking about, right, speed is going to be king, especially on a map like Night Market, right, where there are so many opportunities for speed with both aerials and egoist start with, you see the eras on both teams coming through here as well, and nearly everyone running slick kicks as well in terms of these forwards. Speed is going to be king. It's going to be all about which team can beat their opponent to the core. There's no funny damage comp game happening here, but again, it seems to be that Era's Kitten Club certainly has the better arrow right now, empowering that extra speed to find these barriers.
Yeah, I mean, Aerials is just such a strong awakening on Era. I mean, you might not get too much value out of the projectile aspect of it, but just the dash alone is so impactful because it gets to all of your teammates. It's just so good if you can use that in the perfect spots in the perfect times. I mean, it does help a little bit with that projectile for that Maelstrom, but it's not the most, useful aspect of it, but it's still useful nonetheless. But we're going to see here a KO from that Era that we talked so much about now, and we're trying to get this through, but the Corporal just isn't enough as they're able to save this barrier now as they're off of that power play opportunity, trying to get this ball through. Soren has the Corporal in the goalie net, trying to get it through, able to get it past them, hooking one, trying to make NXZD have the perfect opportunity to score here, or at least get some barriers, but it doesn't seem that's quite going to happen as he's able to push away the X, and their NXZD there is just going to capitalize on that, make sure that KO happens. Power play on the side of Era's Kitten Club now. They're trying to get this through. They're able to find one barrier. Will they be able to find the second here? It seems that Soren is having the ball, making his way through it, but doesn't seem that right now NXZD has the cooldowns necessary in order to make this play happen, and now the power play is over.
Here's this Rasmus goalie again out of Soren, by the way, and again, what I was complimenting Soren on, I think he's going to go on the last game. I think he's going to be able to do an even better job of it in this game on this Rasmus, right? The ability to always make sure that the team has possession of the core, whether that's a pendulum swing to get it out in front or to hit, the core behind an enemy striker, to keep that in possession, to keep the pressure on, or now building up that egoist speed as well to come on in and help out with an energy burst potentially. We'll see whether or not Soren, how active in the future Soren will get, how much speed he'll be able to build up. Now Death Touch pulls away from Dropletto, beautifully done to find that one and bounces it. Kitsuna looks for these passing plays up to NXZD, but he can't find a way to send the core home. Overtime still here. I now on the core flip. There it is. Finally, I gets a little bit of speed, makes the play in order to happen there. Bozo Bunch gets one on the board.
What an intense rally, but it seems we're seeing what we saw a lot of the last game, where at first, Era's Kitten Club really shows their dominance on the field, but then out of nowhere, Bozo Bunch just, gets used to their tactics and makes the perfect play arounds. But right now, they didn't have to wait a set for that to happen. They waited just 2 points, but maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe I'm commentators cursing like I seem to so often do. But we will only time will tell, and we're going to tell right now that it seems that Forgot is able to hold it down as, Dropletto is able to get that barrier now. Open net on the side, and Forgot has that egoist speed. He's going to use the core flip, trying to get it through, but NXZD there is to pick it off. He knows where it's coming. He knows where the goalie wants to play. And right here, as we're going to see here, NXZD is able to get that last barrier with the core flip coming through, but it's going to be stopped by the Maelstrom. Now, open net on both sides, but Soren has this core right where he wants it.
Oh no, it's going right up there to the top corner, and Forgot doesn't have the speed to pick it up. So many of those micro plays and micro decisions just work incredibly well for Forgot, but sometimes the positioning isn't quite there. Sometimes a little bit too far forward, and the core will slip by. That does mean that Era's Kitten Club will get first pick on this Awakenings carousel, and Demolitionist comes up first on a 2-goal barrier map. That is something that NXZD will gladly take, and in fact, sacrificing something like the 1-2 punch for, given this current state of things.
I mean, getting that Monumentalist on this map on Era is really strong because it can almost cover up an entire lane. So that Maelstrom is just going to be quite the, force of nature to mess with.
Let's see what happens here as shocking development. I has picked up speed on the Era. It's stacks on stacks for this midfield classic. And other thing I want to talk about here too that's interesting in this matchup, Kitsuna normally known for playing the Luna. Maybe I'll get corrected by production in text chat in a moment. But Kitsuna generally known to be a Luna player, not as much known for something like the Era, right? Especially for playing this, not being afraid to play the Era mirror against I, who's been playing this Era for months on end at this point. Certainly, probably most midfielders have pocket Eras, but even still, coming in with this mirror match and able to come through with what's been happening so far, holding their own in this match. And certainly as both these teams look for their bit of glory. Power play opportunity here. There's the extra speed drop. Leto finds the energy burst. He'll send it back to the bottom corner. Well done there in order to find it. And Bozo Bunch maybe looking to build up a little bit more momentum here in this next set.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum for the Bozo Bunch last season, or not last season, what am I saying? Last game, it seemed that after they lost their first set, they just had the downloaded information that they needed in order to make these comeback plays, or just the after first set plays. And it seems here right now, as we're seeing, is they're able to get one barrier, get a two barrier. It seems that I was correct in saying that, because now it seems that they just know what they're doing. They just have what they need. They have the knowledge necessary to make a counterplay.
All it takes is to download your opponent there for a moment, and then you'll be able to come it through. And again, need I remind you, I has even more speed. Now that Stacks has actually come online. 100 pancakes for that red team's era. Unfortunately, the thing that doesn't come with speed is the Tofu Fortress coming out fast enough, and it'll get caught on the wrong side of the wall. Here's NXED, Fiery Flurry in the corner, gets KO'd with the Maelstrom, but it goes back the other way. Beautiful energy burst from I in order to secure the gold barrier. It is still having possession for it. Leto wins the strike war to set it up to the top corner. Bozo Bunch had complete control of everything there, despite the fact that there was a monumentalist Maelstrom sweeping through the entire map.
It's just so insane what this team is able to do once they just, it's like they're making a sacrifice to some like ritual where they give up one set to take the game and get the download. I don't know what it is that they do, but it's just so insane what they're able to do.
I think that's the Demon's Raw Gambit or something of the sort at this point. I feel like I see Demon's Raw do that like all of the time. By the way, first pick gets rewarded here. Leto picks up the quick strikes. Beautiful pickup for this X. Beautiful pickup on any character, but particularly on the X. That has that X Maximus. Sword, of course, able to pick up that extra special as well. But guess what? I gets more speed, fight or flight this time, for the increased ability to strike the core and go even faster. Welcome to just winning strike wars, and there, dribbles a little bit, digs the first barrier for the Bozo Bunch.
And now, as we see here, Leto trying to punch it in, trying to get this last barrier, not quite able to find it yet, but he's going in there with the core flip. But that Era Tornado, that huge Maelstrom, is going to push him out. But it wasn't in vain, because he was able to grab that barrier here now, and it's up to NXED to mirror what he just did. And it seems that this Dubu is holding it down in this corner, though, not letting that happen. Katsuna winning a lot of strike wars here. Energy Burst is going to come out, and it's not enough as they're able to hold it, but the second Energy Burst will be enough as they're able to get it, and they're able to get a KO now as they have the power play. That's going to be exactly what they needed to get this goal. They are trying to turn this around. They are doing what they can to put an end to this, losing one set and then winning on the side of, you know, the Bozo Bunch. They don't want this cycle to repeat itself.
Can you convert these power play opportunities? Sometimes that's as simple as it is. Your brawler gets the KO, and then it's all about whether or not you can come through with them. NXCD makes the adjustment to try to read it off the corner bounce. Now Forgot goes in. Summer Assault has Energy Burst as well. Flying Phoenix comes through from NXCD as well as the Fiery Flurry, so now no cooldowns on this Juliet. And suddenly pressure switches the other direction. Forgot walks forward, uses that Energy Burst, Leto though, taken down to low on Stagger. Have to be careful. Here comes I on the Flutterfly once more. Maelstrom sweeping through. It'll take out I on that Era, but not before the barrier falls. Forgot, beautiful clear down to the corner on a razor thin margin. Now NXCD comes back through. There's the Fiery Flurry, keeps it in front again. Gets sent away. Now there's the power play opportunity. Leto sent away. Death Touch from Soren keeps possession of the core. Tofu Fortress will interrupt things for a moment, but Katsuna's still there. Almost sends it back. Forgot once again. Beautiful clear in order to get it away. Leto dives in on the bull rush. Can't find it. Soren, egoist speed denied by I. There's the strike war. That's the kind of thing that you've got to be really darn good at if you're playing Era and Octavia. You do not want to mess with a strike war when you're playing against I here.
Yeah, as we're seeing here, I with the core in the top corner, but it's denied by NXZD because you can't win when you're so focused on that strike warring. You don't notice the looming threat above your head of this, you know, dash punching Juliet ready for you to just look at that core for a little too long, knowing you're not looking at them, and able to get that KO, but the power play was only able to net 1 KO as now Ai is back. And he's probably going to have a better eye looking out for these KOs, but I don't seem to be correct because they're able to find a KO with that extra-sized Maelstrom, and the dash punch is going to be denied by a Dubu Log. Forgot really holding it down here against a core flip, but that was too much because it's just so much in the net happening here, but they now are going to move up with the Egoist core flip. Ai is holding it down in the net while they tried to peek up to make a play here. Wasn't quite able to find it, but that's okay because now they're in the net trying to make this play happen. Going to be pushed out by Katsuna's Bewitching Beam now as Ai is in the corner once again with this ball, but, you know, Dropletto has the core flip, has the quick strikes to try to make the brawling happen. He's going to be pushed around a little bit though because they know that he just wants to be able to make a play. We're pushing him out of that zone, but they're almost able to get a KO of their own on an NXED who got staggered from an air tornado, it looked like, and Dropletto is able to find the barrier with the core flip on 2 people. The sideways dash punch just isn't enough as that is going to be denied Death's Touch from Dropletto, but the ball is in anybody's hands right now.
Anyone's hands, certainly. See what happens here. Fire Flurry out. Here's NXCD. Core flip denied. Beautifully done by Forgot to find that. Now Soren will pull Dropletto back into the blue net. Katsuna now has the speed. Pass up to NXCD and crossed up to the corner. Well done in order to put that back, and Forgot can do nothing but appreciate that that was an incredibly good passing play. Flash the sad boys emote. Move on with life. Air's Kitten Club looking to try to take a set, try to get ahead here in this game.
What a good air tornado. Unfortunately, they saw it coming, were able to push the ball away, but now Dropletto is able to make sure that ball goes into that bottom barrier now as they're trying to get the top one. Ai is able to find the shot here as he's winning so many strikers. So just look at how fast he is, and now he has the Flutterfly to just go even faster. Get that ball to Dropletto with the size increase and the core flip in the net. Not much you could do there as Erasmus with just use your strike. All you have is Pendulum Swing, but that has a little bit too much of a wind-up to actually do anything about it. It was a checkmate situation now as we are 1 set on both sides and on set point on both sides as well.
Here we are. Maelstrom already used out of Katsuna to sweep through the top side of the dish. Now NXZD, cooldown refresh with the Demolitionist, but now gets KO'd by the Summer Assault from Forgot, who punishes it. Power play opportunity the other way. Ai has the energy burst, keeps it alive, and keeps it forward for Dropletto to send it back. Bozo Bunch steals yet another set away, and are looking to end this one early.
Wow, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but Forgot was just in their face too. Their goalie was just committed to making that work. So it's gonna be just insane to see here. And Awakenings, we have Castellas for the era. So that's just so strong to get. I mean, that Flutterfly was already insane, but now it's going to last that much longer, 70% longer to be exact. I mean, we are going to be seeing here Rasmus get a size increase, taking one away, but the X is going to be able to also get a size increase here because there's 2. You can't deny both of them. A little bit more hitting, but goalie getting a little bit more HP is just going to be all you need, and we're going to see if that's enough to keep them alive here.
Castellast is the reward for the MVP of the set, and guess what that means, Spooked? Say it with me. That means I get more speed. Here we go again. Able to continue running around the map. No matter whether or not you ban away the Octavia, keep eye on the arrow or what the case is. See what comes through here is now. Goal barriers taken. Flutterfly out. Dropletto. Egoist speed. Going up to the top side. Takes the flip. Takes the goal. Bullying Soren away. Can't do anything but watch it go by. 2 goals away for the Bozo Bunch before bedtime.
Before bedtime? Well, as we're going to be seeing here now, that Maelstrom's going to come out here. Katsuna trying to make a play. Corflip's going to come out, get the other top barrier. Nice shot around now as the Corflip also is going to come out, able to get that second barrier now. Open net. And now we're going to see how are they trying to get through here, but the X is going to come in and smash that in. Get that kill now that they need here is to convert here, but it seems that the X is not letting it happen. I mean, they're just keeping this ball in, but the stagger, everyone's low. NXED wanted that dash, but it's not quite able to find it, and Dropletto is able to get that HP from that orb.
NXED down to the bottom corner. Forgot Somersault comes up just short, but it doesn't matter because the core hits the corner. NXED now looking for it again. Can't find it there. Here's the ego of speed from Dropletto, tries to get in position, waiting for a pass to come through from I. Now is there. There's the energy burst, finds the barrier. Flutterfly out. Forgot has the extra speed with the Egoist. Now core flips back up to the top side. NXTD's there, though, on the fiery flurry to shut it down. And now takes another shot down to the bottom side. Mini Juliet comes through. Beautiful bewitching beam there from I. Pendulum swing back the other way. Almost collected from NXTD, but no. Now Dropletto. Another energy burst. Soren defends it this time. Katsuna sends it right back down NXTD on the bottom side. And here it comes in the top corner again. No. Interrupted for a moment. Beautifully done to maintain possession, though, from the Bozo Bunch out of all else. Even if something gets in the way, they generally tend to keep it in front of them, but not that time. Just forgot, just slightly mistimed the strike as overtime comes through. Sad Boys emote indeed, my friend. The ironic Sad Boys emote is actually my favorite flavor of the Sad Boys emote, Spooked. It's quite a treat.
I mean, we all got our favorite emotes here. Mine might be a little bit more toxic than the rest, but that's a discussion for another time. As we're able to see here right now, they're pushing. Corpum's going to come out, trying to get this other barrier, able to find one. Forgot holding it down, trying to make sure this other barrier isn't dropped, protecting it with his life now as Dropletto trying to secure that last one, trying to get it through, but NXED is actually able to get barriers now as they're able to convert the speed. Soren's moving up, the core flip, the kill, the goal. He's going to find it all.
Well done there. And committing for the play. Above all else. Look, the second that you get boosted up with Kitsuna's Flutterfly, which has enhancements from both aerials and super surge, suddenly you go pretty fast, and when you have the Egoist speed there as well, you can go even faster. Soren realizes that, commits for the play, and is rewarded, but now it's Bozo Bunch's turn. Dropletto looks for the energy burst down to the bottom side, but it only hits one barrier in the process, and no one's there to apply pressure to the bottom barrier. Here comes Dropletto again, boosted up on the size from the Bewitching Beam, and now is shrunk, but goal barrier found. KO comes through. Power play back the other way. NXTD looking for this one in the corner. Here's the knife's edge speed as well. Gets boosted up from Kitsuna's Bewitching Beam, and now will win the strike war versus Forgot. Gets it right by. It gets sent away from the allied Maelstrom and can't find a way to put it back. Forgot catches a break that time. KO comes through. Dropletto in position, trying to strike it through. Beautiful death touch from Soren to pull it back from behind him. Here's I, though, striking it up to the top corner. Match point for Bozo Bunch.
Wow, what an intense game so far. That Maelstrom kill, though, was just so well executed, so well placed from I here. As we're seeing here, it definitely seems Bozo Bunch is ready to go to bed here, ready to close this game out. They're trying their hardest to do it. They want the memes, but we'll see if we can find that now. As we are trying, and they will find it. They will get it in so... Oh my goodness.
Dropletto said the game was over, and so it shall be. Bozo Bunch take the 2-0 victory over the Era's Kitten Club, and cement themselves with a podium finish at the AfreecaTV Omega Strikers Invitational the week after the North American Strikers League Season 2 ends. How about that? Tell you what, folks, hats off to the Bozo Bunch for how they played. Hats off to the Era's Kitten Club. Hats off to Quest Esports for how they played. Because I'm pretty sure that when you entered the day today and you saw the names of the players that were competing, with something like 6 or 7 NASL representing teams that were there in Season 2, you would have thought that all of those teams would have just beaten all of the NASA teams. They would have gone on, but that's not what happened today. The NASA teams are still in form. They are still, dare I say, in perfect form. They've come to play. They have come to take names in this offseason, and they are starting this weekend. This is a huge wake-up call for some of these rosters that have been floating around back and forth between a lot of these NASL teams, because this is going to be one spicy offseason here, Spook, coming up.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible performance. As you said, we expected the NASL's teams to just sweep, but the NASA teams just came in and said, no, that's not happening today. And they were able to show their performance as they were able to beat out so many competitors that we saw. I mean, Quest Esports also had just an incredible run as well. Unfortunately, was shut down by the Demons, but overall today was an insane day, and definitely ready for tomorrow for the finals.
Demons Raw, Sad Boys, and Bozo Bush will be your 3 teams competing tomorrow. Thanks again to AfreecaTV for helping us out with this event and offering up the prize pool to our competitors. Those will be the 3 teams competing for the majority of it tomorrow. Folks, we're going to take a 16-hour break. We'll be right back here at 5 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And hopefully it won't go all the way till midnight tomorrow. We hope you join us, and we will see you all then. Have a good night's rest, and we'll see you all right back here tomorrow afternoon.